Marvel, Hell's Kitchen's New Punisher Part 3. Wade stared at him suspiciously. Such a specific and clear oath seemed quite sincere. He looked into the man's eyes again and again, and there was sincerity in them. Even if I agree to you, there are so many of them, even if I add one, we can't defeat them. Cohen snorted coldly. The most powerful one is the Speed Demon. I can deal with him. I will use 3 flashes as a signal. If you see him, turn against me. Wade took a deep breath. Only he knew that after being diagnosed with a terminal illness, he was like a fish trying to survive in the desert. Okay, you have the final say. Don't worry, I won't forget the double pay, cancer treatment, and taking care of my girlfriend. Now go get your teammates' attention and cover me. Understand? Wade took a few big steps to the side and suddenly shouted. Hey, who are you? Come out. In an instant, everyone turned their eyes to him. Taking this opportunity, Cohen adjusted his position and approached the other person. Wade waved his hands and apologized to everyone. Sorry, I was dazzled and saw it wrongly. It was a big rat. I thought it had mutated and grown hair. Others expressed their understanding of this unreliable guy. Cohen originally wanted to sneak up on Black Widow from behind, but she was a senior agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. and was extremely alert. He flipped backwards, lowered his body, and used a series of smooth little moves to trip Cohen, then wrapped his arms around his neck and locked him directly. Hiss! Cohen took a deep breath. If it weren't for the pain in his chest, how could you have succeeded? Feeling the soft touch from behind, Cohen couldn't help but feel a little impulsive. Bullshit! This woman is strangling me so tightly, I can't breathe. He grabbed Black Widow's forearm and said in a hoarse voice. Bucky is still alive! What? Black Widow was stunned. Cohen was also stunned. Is it the wrong channel? Wait, let me start over. Didrikov is still alive! What? Hearing the name, Black Widow's body trembled noticeably. If Bucky the Winter Soldier is a ray of light in the tragic first half of Captain America Steve's life, then Dreykov is the culprit behind Black Widow's disastrous first half of her life. He means a lot. But she clearly remembered that she had ended him, together with Hawkeye, in Budapest. His Red House is still watching over this world, and your sister Yelena is under their control. Cohen struggled to say another word. Black Widow was obviously shocked and hesitated for a moment. Seizing this opportunity, Cohen quickly turned the tables, breaking free from her control and locking her up in reverse. He quickly covered her mouth. The two struggled and twisted on the cold concrete floor, their bodies entangled, and finally Cohen stabilized Black Widow. The pain made him exhale deeply, and his hot breath sprayed on Black Widow's neck, causing her whole body to stiffen. Smelling the sweet scent coming from Natasha's neck, Cohen resisted the urge to bite her. Do you have colleagues outside? Why don't they come in? Kingpin is about to win this game. Black Widow was visibly startled. What? Don't make a sound and I'll let you go. Woo! The National Strategic Defense Attack and Logistics Support Bureau is actually cooperating with a criminal who kills, sells drugs, and kidnaps people. Do you have any bottom line? Cohen released her mouth. Hee, this is not called cooperation, it's just exploitation. After catching you, Kingpin won't be able to escape. What have I done wrong that you keep biting me like this? You killed so many people and spread poison all over Manhattan. The so-called poisoning was just a misunderstanding. As for killing, I kill those who deserve to be killed. In other words, I am carrying out the mission that the police, the FBI, and you agents have forgotten to perform. I'm working for you. Black Widow wanted to speak again, but Cohen didn't give her a chance and tightened his arm. Cooperate with me. Once I leave here, I'd like to have a conversation with the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. Meanwhile, we can chat about Dreykov and the Red House, and your former family. Black Widow was silent for a while. Okay. Cohen pondered for 3 seconds and chose to believe her. It was not because he was handsome, but because he believed in the importance of Dreykov in her heart. He relaxed the strength of his arms and sprayed hot air in her ears. When you see 3 bright lights, you can do it. So now I am your prisoner. I got him! Hearing this voice, everyone present approached Black Widow. Wade's eyes flashed, and he lagged behind the crowd by half a step. Kingpin laughed. Well done, Natalie. I will consider giving you a raise. Thank you. Black Widow wisely stepped aside. Kingpin waved his hand, and the gorgeous woman in black who had been silent like an invisible person, the 9 Spider Bride, swung her hand, and a thin needle shot into Cohen's chest. Cohen quickly pulled it out, but saw that the needle had turned blue and black, obviously containing a deadly poison. His face turned ugly. At this moment, there was a wall behind him and a half-circle of people in front of him. In addition, he was injured and had no way to escape. So, did you expect this to happen, Demon Face? Jean Bing couldn't help but raise his mouth. He paused and patted his cane. You shouldn't have provoked me, whether it was provoking me in the gallery or using my sight to spread poison. Cohen rolled his eyes helplessly. Burning drugs was really just a misunderstanding. Why didn't anyone believe it? I am a good young man who just came from a drug-free socialist country. It is normal for me to be not familiar with the relevant drug knowledge. I'm tired. I won't explain it anymore. Cohen raised his head and looked at Kingpin, but his eyes inadvertently swept to the speed demon next to him. He is the most threatening of everyone on the field. The guy was staring at him fiercely. Although his face couldn't be seen clearly because of the mask, he could tell from his eyes that he was an impatient and angry guy. Cohen had already figured out how to deal with him. Thunder and lightning. But with the speed demon's reaction and speed, he was not 100% sure of hitting him, so he had to find a good opportunity. He had waited until now, when everyone saw him as the weakest, and the opportunity had arrived. He coughed and said, I have to say, the dogs you found today are quite capable. He said this, but his eyes were only on the speed demon. As he spoke, his colorful eyes contained 4 parts sarcasm, 3 parts mockery, 2 parts provocation, and 1 part contempt. The speed demon had just been tricked by Cohen and was already feeling uncomfortable. Now, he was instantly angry. Kingpin noticed Cohen's look, and a bad feeling rose in his heart, and he quickly reached out to block the speed demon. But Speed Demon is worthy of being a general he hired at a great price, and he is extremely fast. He had just extended his hand a few centimeters when the Speed Demon rushed out. He flashed in front of Cohen, and a fist like an afterimage rushed straight to Cohen's face. But what he didn't expect was that after Cohen said that, he took a step forward and opened his arms before he even moved. In this way, the Speed Demon seemed to come to him in an embrace. Seeing this scene, everyone exclaimed, and even Jean Bing's small eyes were filled with great doubts. Oh! Wade made an ambiguous sound. Although he took a solid punch and felt a sharp pain in his heart, Cohen could feel the weight in his arms and grinned. Hey baby, I got you! Suddenly, a crackling sound was heard. The silver-white electric arc dazzled everyone's eyes. Stab! 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 After 3 flashes of lightning, the speed demon became limp all over and fell into Cohen's arms like a puddle of mud after being tortured for a long time. Seeing the 3 flashes, Wade reacted quickly and thrust his long knife forward, piercing Sawanda's waist before she could react. Black Widow also reacted quickly, hitting Echo Maya hard on the back of the head with the knife, and the latter fell into a coma instantly. The situation on the field was instantly overturned. Jean Bing's face looked extremely ugly. Now the only people standing beside him were Erica and the 9 Spider Bride, who was good at using poison but not good at fighting. Black Widow and Wade betrayed Murakami, who was stabbed in the collarbone and kicked hard in the waist. He could no longer stand up. Soanda and Echo Maya were ambushed again, and the strongest speed demon is still lying in the enemy's arms. It's over! Cohen smiled and threw the medium-rare speed demon aside, looking at Kingpin. Look, I'm going to teach you another lesson. Choosing teammates is a science. Not only do you have to discover talent in them, but you also have to guard against the fact that they are impulsive and stupid teammates. Most importantly, beware of traitors. They will stab you in the back at the critical moment. Yeah, he's talking about us too. Wade smiled and made a victory gesture. Black Widow rolled her eyes and said to Kingpin, "Let me make it clear first, I am not a traitor. I am an undercover agent. Kingpin, you are under arrest." Jean Bing's eyes widened, he clenched his staff, stared at Cohen, and said fiercely, "But even so, I still want to kill you, and those two may not be able to stop me." "Haha, are you sure?" Cohen raised his right hand, and several tiny arcs of electricity flashed between his fingers, making crackling sounds. However, this is just intimidation. He no longer had the ability to deliver powerful electric shocks. This was just some residual energy. But Jean Bing didn't know. To his surprise, Kingpin stared at the sparks on Cohen's hand for a while and shook his head. "My intuition tells me that you are close to your limit. Hey, this fat guy is really hard to fool." He quickly communicated with the system in his mind. He had received a black iron-level gift package when fighting against the first wave of gunmen. Open it, and add the 3 free attribute values, together with the 5 points left before, to the Constitution item. Suddenly, he felt a lot more relaxed. He shouted, "Wade, kill Kingpin. Natalie, you deal with Erica, and I'll deal with the most difficult poison lady." Wade and Black Widow looked at each other, and Wade went up obediently. Black Widow gritted her teeth and could only stand up and wrap around Erica. Cohen looked at the somewhat panicked Nine Spider bride with a sly smile on his face. She has an Asian face, is good-looking, and has some scary smoky makeup on her face. She is a subordinate of Madame Gao of the Shura Society. She is extremely skilled in using poison and has some fighting skills, but is far inferior to Cohen. "Little lady, let's get started." After saying that, Cohen stepped forward and pounced on him. The battles at the other 2 locations have already begun. The battle at Black Widow's location is not so bad, as both sides are evenly matched. Wade's situation was not very good. His strength was far inferior to that of the fat man. Although he was good at using his double swords, he was at a disadvantage as soon as they started fighting. Cohen was the strangest here. There were several poisonous needles stuck in his chest, but he seemed to be unaffected and was chasing after the Nine Spider bride. "Hey, don't run!" The 2 of them gradually distanced themselves from the others. Cohen glanced sideways, his muscles exploded, his speed increased significantly, and he directly caught the Nine Spider bride and held her in his arms. The Nine Spider bride was terrified. What are you doing?" Cohen snorted coldly. "Why am I not poisoned?" He lowered his head and leaned close to her neck. "Honey, have you ever seen a vampire that was poisoned to death? After saying that, take a bite." The Nine Spider bride's eyes widened instantly. "Pierce. Injection." Cohen let go of the limp Nine Spider bride and wiped the blood from the corner of her mouth. "Okay, stay here first and escape later. Remember to come to my room tomorrow night at midnight." The Nine Spider bride was dizzy and did not respond. Although she has not completed the transformation yet, she will remember his orders after she truly becomes a vampire. Cohen returned to the 4-player battlefield, and the opponents had changed. After Wade failed to resist Kingpin, he exchanged opponents with Black Widow. Black Widow used her agility to deal with Kingpin, while Wade and Erica collided with knives and forks. He kept yelling, "No, Erica, you hit me so hard. This isn't how our fight should be. Stop now, let's kill our former boss together, and I'll ask my current boss to give you double the reward." Cohen walked up to them and said, "Erica, do you know attorney Matt Murdock? He and I are good friends. Surrender, and for his sake, I won't kill you today." As soon as Cohen finished speaking, Erica did not move, but Kingpin ran first, his fat body suddenly bursting out with extraordinary speed. The cane was thrown back, exploding with a loud bang and emitting a large cloud of smoke. By the time Cohen reacted, Erica was nowhere to be seen. "Fuck, where are the 2 of them?" Black Widow shook her head. "Escaped. Kingpin arranged a special retreat route." "Then go chase them." Wade shrugged. "Boss, I don't trust this woman. I think you need my personal protection." He stood in front of Cohen, pretending to glare at Black Widow. Cohen looked at Black Widow helplessly. Do you also want to protect me closely? Black Widow shook her head. To be precise, it's surveillance. Cohen threw out a white business card and said, The following scene is not suitable for children. Call me tomorrow and we will find a suitable place to have a deeper discussion. Black Widow took the business card, but showed no intention of leaving. Just then, boom! There was an explosion. Then there was the roar of a motorcycle, approaching rapidly. Another master of knife skills, Blade. Squeak! The motorcycle spun around and stopped handsomely in front of the three people. Chom! The long sword was unsheathed, and the blade was full of dominance. Who blocked the door and beat my friend like this? Are you trying to kill yourself? Did you two see it? Cohen rolled his eyes and asked. Why don't you wait until I die? You were a policeman in your previous life, right? Wade looked at the long sword in his hand, then at the blade. His eyes widened. Hey, what a coincidence! I'm also good at using a long sword. Black Widow weighed the pros and cons and said, You'd better remember to answer my call, evil Iron Man. Then leave. Walking out of the parking lot, she took out a small headset from somewhere and said, Leave. Today is not a good time to arrest him. After a while, Coulson's voice came. I saw a motorcycle blast through the exit and break in. What happened, Natasha? I'll tell you about anything beyond my expectations when I get back. After Black Widow left, Cohen looked around and the good news was that several people on the ground were still alive. Even though Soanda was stabbed, he still lived tenaciously. After all, he had lived on dragon bones for hundreds of years and his will to survive was extremely strong. As members of the Shuhai Society who seek immortality, he and Murakami also have the greatest fear of death. 3 silvers and 1 bronze. Cohen took some time to tip off the 3 silver bosses, causing Wade and Blade to look at him a little unnaturally. Cohen was helpless. Wasn't it just a matter of tying them to the back of a pickup truck with a rope and dragging them to death? It's no big deal, it's not your floor that's dirty. After the 3 people died almost at the same time, Cohen received a silver gift package with a 5-star rating as expected. Come on, a real man would open it right there and then. If the system was powerful enough, I would go chase Jean Bing right now. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Flash. The task has been updated and can be viewed. A wave of information flooded into his mind. The so-called Flash can be understood as a spell. Within a few dozen meters around, you can designate a place, even in midair, and cause an extremely dazzling burst of light. Like an oversized flash bomb. Use it as a flash bomb, with bursts a dozen times a day, or continuous bursts of extremely bright light for 5 to 10 minutes. This ability is very strong. Since he is immune to flash, he now has a powerful control skill. Just now, he probably only needed to place 2 of them in front of the speeding speed demon, and the opponent would be paralyzed due to blindness. However, this ability is not very useful for chasing Kingpin. It would be possible to catch up with him, but with his explosive speed, he might have already run 3 miles away. Let him live for 2 more days. Next time I find him, I will shoot him in the head without any nonsense. He was driving his pickup truck home, but what bothered him was that Wade in the passenger seat refused to leave. He immediately worshipped Cohen as his godfather, hugged his legs and wanted to go home with him. Even if Cohen transferred him double the salary out of desperation, it was useless. Finally, after he swore countless oaths and made Vanessa promise not to reveal his identity, Cohen took him back to the church. Late at night, after the battle, Cohen worked tirelessly to cook several delicious dishes. After he, Wade and David wolfed down their meal, they sat on the balcony with their beers, looking at the brightly lit city. As for Blade, his mother wouldn't let him come home that late. Under the cool night breeze, Wade was surprisingly silent. After finishing a bottle of beer, he asked cautiously, You said you could cure my cancer. Is that true? Cohen sat on a rattan chair he found in Chinatown, relaxing both physically and mentally. Of course it's true. There's more than one way. Wade showed a hint of surprise on his face. Really? But there is only one way I can achieve it immediately. What way? Turn you into a vampire. Wade was stunned. There has been a lot of news about vampires recently. He frowned and thought for a moment. I heard that vampires have many weaknesses? Yes. Cohen leaned forward and said, Ordinary mixed-blood vampires are afraid of sunlight, ultraviolet rays, garlic, and silverware. They need to suck human blood to survive, and their spirits will gradually corrupt over time, eventually turning into manic, crazy monsters. Wade took a deep breath and said, Fuck, is this considered a method? Cohen laughed and said, Why not? Just tell me whether the cancer is cured or not, okay? Have you ever seen a vampire die of cancer? Wade stood up and said, Are you kidding me? TSK. Why are you so anxious? If you don't want to be a vampire, why don't you try another method? Didn't you say you only had one way? There is another way. Although I can't do it, there are people who can do it. Can't we just find them? There was a Russian who ran a laboratory that specialized in human mutation experiments. Go in there and try it. If you bear with it for a while, your superpowers will appear, right? With superpowers, you can't die. Fake. Wade's eyes widened. Listen, is this human language? Aren't you afraid that I'll die in there? Well, not. Cohen waved his hand and said, You have wisdom, you can't die. Believe me, as a priest, I will not lie. I believe you. You don't act like a priest when you kill people. Wade rubbed his face. Why do I feel like I've been fooled? You have cancer, it's in the late stage. If you want to be with Vanessa forever, you have to go through this journey of danger and suffering. I'm not going to turn into a freak with 3 eyes and 8 arms, am I? How is that possible? At most. Wade was suspicious. At most what? Cohen waved his hand and said, Don't worry, during your trial, I will help you find a psychologist to help Vanessa with her psychological support. No matter what you become, she will accept you. Fake. Wade was very depressed. Cohen continued to persuade him. Don't worry, you will be tortured in there at most. What kind of torture is drowning, burning, tying up, dripping wax, electric shock, and whipping? Isn't it a piece of cake for you? Although most test subjects have to suffer in there for 2 to 3 years, brother, can you let me endure this? I'll help you find someone. Give them some money and they can compress your 2 years into 2 months. Once you get your superpowers, send me a signal, and Blade and I will rush in to save you. Isn't that perfect? Wade was powerless to struggle. 2 years of torture were compressed into 2 months. Do you think I am an indestructible cockroach? At the same time, he discovered another problem. You sent me into the laboratory. Why did you want to snatch me out? Cohen asked in confusion. Hey? Didn't I tell you? That place is a place that specializes in producing super slaves. If I don't snatch you away, do you want me to spend money to buy you? Where slaves were produced. Producing slaves? Slave? Wade glared at Cohen, getting angrier and angrier. He suddenly jumped up and said, I'll strangle you to death. Wade left at dawn the next day. He wanted to be quiet. David began to help find the Russians. Cohen gave him a few key words, the pseudonym Francis of Ajax, and the broker named Smith. While I was having breakfast, the phone kept ringing. David took a quick look and found out it was the Black Widow Natasha calling. This woman is so impatient. Cohen picked up the phone after David processed the signal briefly. Hey, it's me. I missed you too after not seeing you for one night. Okay, I'll do as you say. Bye. David was listening nearby with a confused look on his face. Are you meeting an agent or hooking up with a girl? Cohen returned to the table to continue eating. David hesitated for a moment, but couldn't help asking. Are you coming back tonight? Do you want me to book a hotel for you? Cohen looked up. Huh? Why would I order that? I'm going to meet an agent, not to date a girl. David blinked and said, Oh, you know that too? It's never too late to order it when you need it. David's eyes widened instantly. Fuck. As he stirred the spicy soup in the plate, he suddenly felt a little sad. Cohen noticed it keenly. Why, do you miss your wife and children? David nodded with red eyes. I haven't seen them for a long time. How about I help you visit them? David wanted to nod, but after looking at Cohen's face, he shook his head decisively. Men like you should stay as far away from my wife as possible. Cohen thought for a moment and said, Just bear with it for a few more days. When we make some money, I'll buy a big estate in New Jersey and you can take them over to live there. It's much safer there than here. In addition, action against Agent Orange can also be put on the agenda. But if we want to lure him out, it's more reliable to find Frank. Agent Orange is the mastermind behind the drug trafficking of the bodies of fallen American soldiers and the current director of the CIA's Secret Operations Department, William Rollins. This guy's whereabouts are so secretive that even David finds it difficult to track him down. They had tried to lure him out with videotapes before, but it didn't work. It seems that only Frank, who did the dirty work for him, can lure him out. David nodded. I have been looking for Frank's trace. I have a feeling that we will see him soon. Cohen had a rough idea that Frank was probably hiding in a construction site in New York lately, but he didn't know which one. In addition, Frank himself has a superb anti-reconnaissance awareness, so he has never been found. However, as David slowly eliminates the clues, this human extreme warrior at the level of a 10th-level agent will eventually surface. In the evening, on a bench on the bank of the Hudson River, Black Widow Natasha looked at the sunset and then at the watch on her wrist. The shimmering river surface reflected a bright red light onto her face, making it impossible to see her expression. Ta-ta! Hearing footsteps behind her, she glanced at her watch again. Hey, is this red-haired beauty waiting for someone? Oh, it seems like you are waiting for me. Sorry I'm late, you know, the evening rush hour is too congested. Natasha had a blank expression on her face. It's okay, you're only 1 hour, 48 minutes and 26 seconds late. Oh, that's too bad. Cohen sat down next to her and said, There's nothing I can do about it. There are dozens of agents surrounding me, and I'm a little scared. If we ever have a falling out, I have to find an escape route. It took some time, I think you don't mind? I don't mind that guy with the bow and arrow keeping aiming at me. Are you sure he can't skate? Black Widow took a deep breath. As soon as they met, the other party gave her several warnings. Of course not, Barton is a professional. That's good. Cohen sat relaxed in the chair, watching the sunset and humming a little tune. Black Widow began to reevaluate the mecha-clad man in front of her. He was stronger than she thought. Mr. Iron Man, you seem to be very familiar with us? Cohen turned his head and glanced at her. Under the light of the setting sun, Black Widow at this moment was extremely beautiful and charming. For such a person, it suddenly becomes understandable that someone would want to drink her bath water. Unfortunately, the name Black Widow already foreshadows her danger. Cohen did not answer her question directly, but asked, What is the awkward name of your organization? Black Widow was puzzled, but she said it anyway. Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. I'll give you an abbreviation. How about SHIELD? What? This answer was totally beyond her expectations. How can you change the name of another organization right away? Frowning slightly, she suddenly realized that she seemed to have lost the initiative in today's conversation. Take it back. But the next moment, Cohen's words made her unable to calm down. By the way, do you want to kill Dreykov and destroy his Red House? Black Widow's heart was shaken. This question was what she cared about most. He's dead. Where did he die? Budapest. Fake. Cohen looked her in the eye. That bomb didn't kill him. But fortunately, you succeeded in mentally killing his sweet and cute little daughter. When his daughter was dying, Dreykov implanted a chip in her, turning her into a living, breathing killing machine. The Black Widow froze, her whole body stiff. The Black Widow in front of Cohen was the first gold-level prey he had ever encountered. Judging from her past life memories, she is a qualified superhero. But she came from the Red Room and had a lot of blood on her hands. So, should we kill her? She killed innocent people, and she saved innocent people. She became a good person. The Buddha said, put down the butcher's knife and become a Buddha immediately. That's bullshit. Cohen believes in fighting evil with evil, and bad guys will not do evil until they are dead. Killing them is equivalent to indirectly saving many lives. But now, if Natasha is killed, Cohen cannot replace her role, which may mean that the people she could have saved will die. Cohen does not know the specific criteria for the system to evaluate prey. But he is not a pawn of the system. To kill or not to kill, he is the final decision maker. Such a beauty is a pleasure to look at. It would be a pity to kill her. He suddenly thought of a sentence he often saw, a sentence in the system. Natasha, tell me, if a person has committed a great sin, what should she do to achieve redemption? Black Widow looked up, a little dazed. Let me tell you, killing. Only by killing the evil ones can you be redeemed. You fart. There was a loud shout from behind Cohen. He was not angry, but smiled and said, Mr. Barton, it's our first meeting. I have been curious about your archery skills for a long time. It's a pity that you didn't fire after aiming at me so many times. I wanted to try to dodge it. Hawkeye ignored him. He looked at the guilty Black Widow with heartache and was furious. What evidence do you have for what you said? What is your conspiracy? Cohen raised his hands helplessly. Patton was not judged as prey by the system. It seemed that he was just an ordinary agent with a conscience. What conspiracy could I have, Mr. Barton? Wasn't it you, S.H.I.E.L.D., who invited me here? Hawkeye Barton rolled his eyes and said, I'm telling you, we are called the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency, not some bullshit S.H.I.E.L.D. Not now, and not ever. Cohen smiled and said, Haha, it seems like what you said is of no use, right? Hawkeye gnashed his teeth and said, Humph, if Fury listens to you and changes his name to this crappy name, I will quit the Strategic National Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. Cohen raised his eyebrows and said, You are so confident, why call yourself Hawkeye? I will give you a new name, Confidence Man. Hawkeye glared at him, then quickly walked over to Black Widow and held her shoulders. Natasha, it's not your fault. We made that plan together. Even if what this guy said is true, I have to take half the responsibility. Black Widow looked at him sadly and shook her head. No, I made the plan and planted the bomb. You just witnessed it all. It has nothing to do with you. I should take all the responsibility. That guy lied. Black Widow shook her head. Cohen was very close to her just now. His breath and his eyes told her that he was not lying. She looked at Cohen, who stared at her. Natasha, I hope you can let Hawkeye take half of the responsibility for you. Black Widow took a deep breath. How bad is it? Dreykov trained thousands of Black Widows. The Black Widow was stunned, and after a long while she murmured, If I had killed him in the first place, none of this would have happened, right? Cohen shook his head and sighed, saying that this was certainly not entirely Black Widow's fault. But it was precisely because S.H.I.E.L.D. believed her report, and thought Dreykov was dead that the Red House was allowed to thrive and grow rapidly. She has an unshirkable responsibility. How many corpses would it take to train thousands of professional female killers? How much blood will be on their hands? This is what I told you, only killing can bring salvation. Black Widow didn't say anything, seeming to be thinking about something. Hawkeye Barton was very anxious. He wanted to persuade Natasha, but he didn't know what to say. He knew her first half of life, and her character. So, he simply changed his target to Cohen. After saying so much, what is your purpose? Cohen smiled. Purpose? Why do we need a purpose? Isn't this what a righteous hero should do? Hawkeye paused. You are righteous? You killed many people in Hell's Kitchen. You are not only a poisoner and a murderer, you are also a sadistic murderer. Hey, Buffalo Bill! Does anyone know who the Confidence Man is? Facing Hawkeye's accusation, Cohen was not angry. I have killed many people, but who among them is innocent? Even if they are guilty, do they all have to face the death penalty? Even if their crimes are serious, they still need to be tried by the law. Cohen shook his head. If the law could judge every evildoer, I would not be here. The real purpose of the law is to maintain order, not to punish crime. It even maintains the order of the upper class, but judges the crimes of the lower class. He turned and looked at the sunset. I don't know what you S.H.I.E.L.D. think of me, malicious or kind, I don't care. But please don't interfere with me while I clean up this world. Besides, if S.H.I.E.L.D. is guilty, it will be my target for cleansing. He gave Natasha one last look and said, Find Dreykov, correct your mistakes, and complete your redemption. After saying that, he turned around and left. Hawkeye looked at his back and thought to himself, Don't be so arrogant, boy. You want to clean up S.H.I.E.L.D. while S.H.I.E.L.D. is still burdened with sins? Who do you think you are? We are an organization that maintains world peace, okay? Humph, next time I have the chance, I will definitely shoot you with an arrow. Coulson, who was watching all this from a distance, frowned. One of his subordinates reminded him that Iron Man was about to leave the surveillance area. Coulson thought for a moment and ordered, Let him leave first. The primary issue now is Black Widow and Hawkeye. The action in Budapest was equivalent to Black Widow Natasha's Pledge of Allegiance. After that, the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency accepted her. But now, there is a problem with the letter of allegiance, and that is a big problem. Even Hawkeye is involved. What a headache! The two ace agents are in trouble. Of course, he was willing to trust his two teammates, but his own director. Coulson, as an agent you must be skeptical of everything. Gee. Thinking of the director's teachings, he felt a headache, but no matter what, he still needed to report to the director. Dudu. Coulson, how's the plan going? Did you catch that damn poisoner? Don't let me down again. Chief, we are in trouble. After listening to Coulson's story, there was silence on the other end of the phone for a long time, and then there was an angry roar. Damn it, fuck! Cohen turned on the system and saw the column. Creed killed to gain redemption. On the panel was flashing. Soon, a prompt sound came from the system. Congratulations on unlocking the system gift function. When the host obtains the source of upgrade, bloodline, skills, and abilities, he can choose to give them to others. Note: the recipient must be a believer of the creed. Shit, Cohen secretly complained. I don't even have enough for myself, so how can I give it to others? Besides, there are not many people who have the conditions to believe in your creed. Don't you have many lives that can be used for it? It was already dark when we returned to Emma Church. After dinner and a shower, I lay down on the bed beautifully. Nearing midnight, the other woman he had been waiting for a long time finally arrived. She nimbly jumped onto the balcony of Emma Church, carefully entered the inner room, and got into Cohen's half-open door. Master, I'm here. Well, close the door. The nine-spider bride had obviously been carefully dressed up, changing her previous gaudy smoky makeup to become pure and charming. Come, sit on the bed and talk to me. The Hand's situation. She is a subordinate of Madame Gao of the Shura Society and is very familiar with its internal situation. Master, I just learned that the Hand has a shocking conspiracy. An unknown luxurious manor, a huge office. Click. Hiss, huh? Jean Bing took a puff of the big cigar he had just lit, but there was no expression of pleasure on his face. His right-hand man Wesley stood beside him, frowning. Boss, are we really going to withdraw from New York? Kingpin's eyes were dark. Wesley, the world has changed. It's just that there's one more demon face. Wasn't there Daredevil before? We were not afraid of him. Kingpin shook his head. Wesley, the reason why we, or the gangs, are so powerful is not because we have money, guns, or people. It's because we trample on the rules and are not bound by them. Daredevil is powerful, but he still acts within the rules of morality. But Devilface is different, he ignores the rules even more than us. At this point, Jean Bing was silent for a while. The powerful ones in the past were all bound by the rules, which gave us the soil for survival. Now, there is a mad beast with gnashing teeth that ignores rules and is feeding on us, and we can't stop it. If he had continued to exist, I dare say that the gangs in New York would have ushered in their darkest era because of him. Wesley took a deep breath. It was just a demon face. How could it really be so powerful? He couldn't help but tilt his head. He knew that there was a woman living in the next room, Vanessa. Jean Bing's new girlfriend. My boss, is it that the enemy is too powerful, or have you become weak? He wanted to say something but stopped. Jingle bell. The phone rang suddenly. Jean Bing sat still. Wesley picked up the phone consciously. He was very familiar with the voice on the other end. It was from the Shoha Society, Mrs. Gao. Kingpin waved his hand and Wesley pressed the speakerphone button. A shrill old woman's voice came out. King Bing, the hand has suffered heavy losses. We want revenge. A few hours later, in a secret room, Kingpin looked at Daredevil, who was chained and struggling in front of him, with a look of surprise. The hand actually captured him? As soon as Daredevil saw him, he started yelling. Kingpin, it's you! You bastard! What on earth did you do to Erica, you devil? Who would have thought that the famous Daredevil was actually a blind man? Taking a look at the hood on the ground, Jean Bing couldn't help but sigh. He looked at the face again. And you, a blind man, are actually a lawyer! I have to say, this news surprised me just as much as when I heard that the hand had captured you. Assholes, where is Erica? What did you do to her? Daredevil roared. As a street vigilante and a lawbreaker, I actually make a living by the law. This world is more interesting than I thought. When you are in court sending guilty people to prison, have you ever thought about yourself? Do you think that one day you will be one of them? Where's Ailika, you bastard? Jean was getting impatient. Erica, are women so important to you? Are you a superhero or a super romantic? Daredevil calmed down a little and snorted. What do you, a cold-blooded gangster boss, know? She was controlled by someone and betrayed me. I want to save her. If I can't even protect the one I love, then what kind of hero am I? Jean Bing suddenly fell silent. I understand. I understand very well. The people from the hand use women to deal with you, and their methods are really despicable. He suddenly felt a sense of sympathy for one another. King Bing, you can't empathize with him, right? Suddenly, a shrill voice came from behind. It was Mrs. Gao. I know you've fallen in love with a woman lately, Kingpin. I hope she won't make you weak. After hearing this, Jean Bing's heart was instantly filled with anger. He turned around, his face expressionless, his eyes like dead fish. Nothing can make me weak. I am now stronger than ever. Mrs. Gao saw his eyes, chuckled, and turned to Daredevil. For someone like you, falling in love with someone else is a mistake. To make matters worse, you fell in love with a female killer. You have no future. You may be able to give them money, status, and care, but you can never provide the sense of security that women need most. The best option is to cut off ties early before a tragedy occurs. These words silenced both Daredevil and Kingpin. Daredevil hesitated and looked at Kingpin. You also have. Shut up. Jean Bing glared at him. He turned to Mrs. Gao and said, I didn't come here to let you be weird. You just said on the phone that you wanted to revive the beast? Madame Gao smiled, with a hint of respect in her tone. To be precise, we want to introduce the power of this ancient demon god into the world. Daredevil is still alive today because he is the perfect vessel for the beast. Daredevil's eyes widened. He had certainly heard of the word beast, and immediately shouted, Are you crazy? You will bring the entire New York into an irreparable disaster. Jean picked up the hood from the ground, walked towards Daredevil, and smiled. There's nothing I can do, because that demon face is so ferocious. For the future of the New York underworld, this is the only thing we can do, and blame him if you want to. After saying that, he stuffed the hood into Daredevil's mouth, and the latter made a wah sound. Kingpin turned around. So, what should we do to make this beast come? Before he finished listening to the 9 Spider Brides narration, Cohen sat up straight in shock. Damn it, the hand actually wants to summon the power of the devil? Have you asked Master Gui? But what he was not sure about was whether the Supreme Sorcerer would take care of this matter. I asked her for help to get home, but she ignored me. Maybe she went to visit another dimension recently? Thinking of this, he waved at Jiao Zhu, who lay down obediently, and he bit the other's neck again. What was injected this time was his unique daily blood. After the 9 spiders became vampires, although their physical fitness was greatly enhanced, their weaknesses were also obvious and they were easily discovered. After integrating the sun's blood, not only did her 3 major weaknesses disappear, her physical fitness was enhanced again, but her desire and frequency of sucking blood were also greatly reduced. Combined with her poison skills, her combat effectiveness increased sharply. Even if she returned to the hand, there were not many people who could be her match. After she left, Cohen began to think again. For such a dangerous matter, of course we have to contact S.H.I.E.L.D. They can't just watch and not do any work, right? They are the main force in maintaining world peace. He woke David up and asked him to call back the number he had called last time. The call was quickly connected, and Coulson's voice came. Hello? Are Hawkeye and Black Widow in New York recently? Tell them to put the search for Dreykov on hold. There could be a disaster in New York. Have them both be prepared and wait for my notification at any time. In addition, S.H.I.E.L.D. must also be prepared to rescue and evacuate residents, and follow my command when the time comes. Clap. The phone hangs up. Coulson, who had just woken up from his sleep, listened to the beep sound on the phone with a confused look on his face. Was the call I answered from Devil Face or from the director? You gave orders so quickly and efficiently. What level of agent are you? I'm level 8, and no one dares to talk to me like that except the director. Gritting my teeth, I'm so angry. But the work still had to be done. I opened my phone, found Fury's number, and dialed it. Hey, Chief, let me tell you, this guy Devil Face is going too far. The next morning, an acquaintance came to the church. Wesley is a rookie assassin who has just learned all the martial arts in the Assassin Brotherhood. The system did not give any prey prompts, which meant that he had not yet performed any missions. In fact, this was exactly why Wesley came. Yesterday was the first time he had to carry out a mission, but he hesitated. He couldn't kill a stranger. Moreover, he thought of what Cohen had said that he should come to find him when he carried out the first killing mission. Wesley explained the whole story and Cohen nodded with satisfaction. Luckily you followed my instructions, otherwise I would have killed you myself. Wesley was stunned. He wondered if he had heard it wrong. How could the priest, who used to be so kind and gentle and counseled me, say such a thing? Seeing his incredulous look, Cohen smiled and pointed his finger like a sword. Come on, try to stop me. After saying that, his arm left a shadow and his finger stopped in front of Wesley, only a few millimeters away from his eyeballs. He couldn't help but take a few steps back, looking shocked. There are many capable people in the Assassin Brotherhood, but none of them is so terrifying. His heart was pounding as if he was facing a prehistoric beast. Cohen stepped forward slowly. I said, "Stop me." Everything in front of my eyes became blurry, and then the shadow of the finger came again. Wesley has pushed his abilities to the limit. Adrenaline was secreted in large quantities, and everything around him slowed down in his eyes, except that finger. He stumbled backwards like a clumsy toddler. The third time. The finger still remained firmly positioned a few millimeters away from his eyeballs. The priest in front of him slowly withdrew his fingers and stood with his hands behind his back. Wesley's back was covered in cold sweat, and he was gasping for breath, like a drowning man who had just surfaced from the bottom of the sea. Father, who are you? I am a knight of God. Wesley was still confused. What is that? I am a knight sent by God to punish evil. This world will either be purified by me or destroyed by me. Me. Cohen succeeded for the first time, and Wesley was converted. It's not that he has made progress, but that the other party is too naive. After all, in the original plot, he was easily deceived by the Brotherhood and killed his father with his own hands. Cohen had given him spiritual counseling many times before, and he already had a certain position in his heart. Now it can only be considered a natural outcome. In the backyard, he revealed the true face of the fraternity to Wesley. Wesley was stunned. You mean, the Brotherhood trained me to kill my father? Yes. Cohen nodded. Brotherhood leader Sloan betrayed the Brotherhood for financial gain. He forged lists and slaughtered innocent people at will. The entire Brotherhood's murders were all his accomplices. Your father found out about this, so he left the Brotherhood to try to stop Sloan. Wesley suddenly thought of something. Then Fox. She was a believer, but unfortunately, the loom of fate did not save her. Wesley immediately sat down on the chair dejectedly. He really couldn't imagine that Sloan, a guy with a nice voice and elegant manners, would betray his faith. Damn, that old black guy is so scary. Then what should I do now? Go find your biological father first, then the Brotherhood needs a purification. In the backyard, Cohen was sweeping flower petals from the ground when he suddenly heard a bell ringing. Someone's in the confessional. Through the hollow wooden board, he received a system prompt that the person opposite him was a bronze-level prey. A cold female voice sounded. Father Cohen? It's me. There was a sound of a door opening on the opposite side, and then the door on Cohen's side was opened, and a figure rushed in. A warm body with a unique scent sat directly across his thighs. In the cramped space, the temperature began to rise. Hiss! Cohen swallowed. He could clearly feel the other's elastic buttocks and thigh muscles. Two slender arms were placed on his shoulders, so close that his breath was blowing against his face. He could see the other person's face clearly through the falling golden curls, the fair and delicate skin, the deep eye sockets, the fiery red lips, and the clear eyes. Angelina Jolie? No, it should be Fox from the Assassin's Brotherhood. He understood instantly that it seemed that the Brotherhood had been following Wesley. But what does this sexy goddess want to do, kill me or rape me? If it is the former, I will fight back with all my might. If it is the latter, I will fight back with all my might. Fox lowered his right hand, placed it on Cohen's chest, and fumbled around. What did you tell Wesley? Cohen felt a nameless anger rising from top to bottom, and his heart beat faster. He was 33 in his previous life, 22 in this life, and over 50 in total. How could he have been touched like this? Fuck, do you think my dragon head stick can't be used? Who is Wesley? He pretended to be confused. Fox paused, felt around, found the spot, and pinched it. Hiss! Cohen immediately regained his composure and said, Hey, what are you doing? This is a church. Get off my body. He started pushing her, and she started to resist. In the small confessional, the old bench was probably cracking, and there was a crackling sound. Until snapped. Cohen suddenly slapped Fox's butt hard, causing her to freeze. You naughty boy, God will blame me if he sees you like this. Crack. A loaded pistol was pressed against Cohen's head. Take your right hand off my hip, and your left hand around my waist. Cohen raised his hand obediently. I'll ask you again, what did you say to Wesley? Cohen shrugged helplessly. Don't be impulsive, we just talked about Sloan betraying his faith for financial gain and letting you kill innocent people. Then, when Carlos found out, he asked you to train his son to kill him. Fox was stunned. What nonsense are you talking about? You and Carlos have been colleagues for many years. Why do you distrust him so much? The loom of fate may not make mistakes, but why can't Sloan be selfish? Carlos has the evidence. Did you give him a chance to explain it? Is training a son to kill his father something a righteous organization should do? What Sloan asked you to do is just 4 words: kill and silence the witnesses. Fox opened his mouth wide, his face full of disbelief. The man before him had accurately described the recent turmoil in the Assassin Brotherhood, but he had given a completely different explanation. Emotionally, she should trust Sloan and the Brotherhood. But deep down, she couldn't help but begin to doubt. The abnormality of Carlos' betrayal, the unreasonableness of Sloan's orders, and the crime of the godson killing his father all came to his mind at this moment. Looking at her expression, Cohen knew that this blow was a bit heavy for her, but that was the fact. He pushed away her hand holding the gun and looked her straight in the eyes. Your name has already appeared. There is also the repairman, the butcher, the Russian. Everyone's name has appeared. The only one who is clean is Wesley, who has not yet completed his mission. Fox shuddered. The beauty was sad, and Cohen lowered his hard and indestructible dragon head stick. Fox, I have a way to forget sadness. Do you want to try it? Fox's eyes widened. What? Just as she finished speaking, she suddenly felt her hands were tied, and she fell forward involuntarily until she hit a solid chest. A breath with a refreshing scent spread over her neck. Ah! A tingling pain came, and a wonderful feeling was injected into her body. It was getting dark in the backyard of Emma Church. A round table, dinner is in progress. Cohen and Fox sat very close to each other, talking in low voices while eating. Sloane has to atone for what he did, but those of you who don't know don't have to. Maybe you are guilty, but the world needs you. What you have to do is not to atone for your sins, but to make atonement for them. Killed to gain redemption. Fox's eyes were confused. David looked up from his bowl of rice pudding. He looked at Fox and then at Cohen. Fox, does being handsome really mean you can do whatever you want? Bah, you scumbag, a woman sneaked into your bedroom yesterday, don't think I don't know. But what will the brothers do if we kill Sloane? The Brotherhood will continue to operate, and you will be the leader. Fox was startled, and then fell into deep thought, seemingly weighing the feasibility of this method. Speaking of which, Cohen has currently converted 2 vampires, both using daytime blood. They behave differently. Jiu Zhu changed from a charming and poisonous woman to a virtuous wife. Fox, on the other hand, has hardly changed. Although she also follows Cohen's orders, she seems to have retained more of her own style. Clean and decisive, heroic and dashing. The church doorbell rang. David opened the door and ushered in 2 people, Wesley and his father, Carlos. As soon as he entered the room, Carlos first cast a wary gaze on Fox. Seeing that she did not react much, he looked at Cohen carefully. The 2 sat down. Carlos got to the point. Why do you know so much about the Brotherhood, Father? Cohen smiled and said, Didn't Wesley tell you why? Of course I did, but Carlos didn't believe it. What night of God? How is that possible? Cohen saw his expression and guessed what he was thinking. Mr. Carlos, do you not believe that God exists, or do you not believe that I am God's knight? I don't really believe it. That's what Carlos thought. Cohen understood it again and shook his head. You believe in the loom of fate, but you don't believe in God? Do you want to think about what your name means? Carlos, which means cross. How can you not believe in Jesus or any religion? Heresy. Cohen smiled and said, The Assassin Brotherhood exists because of the loom of destiny, and you are its killers. And I am a combination of the 2. I am the police, the judge, the jury, and the executioner. Carlos frowned slightly and thought for a moment. Father, do you think I am guilty? Have. Where's Fox? Have. Where's Wesley? None. And yourself? Cohen laughed. I should have been guilty. What do you mean? Cohen smiled and shook his head. Okay, let's talk about how to get rid of Sloane and save the Brotherhood. That's the point, right? Carlos thought for a moment and nodded. Fox and I have already discussed it. As the culprit who disrupted the faith and betrayed the Brotherhood, Sloane must die to atone for his sins. If there are accomplices, they will be dealt with in the same way. But I believe that most people were deceived by him and committed crimes. These people can be forgiven. Carlos was slightly stunned. But there is already a name on the loom of fate. As a guilty person, atone for your sins. Cohen looked at him and smiled. After all, if you all die, the Brotherhood will no longer exist. He paused and said, After Sloane is dealt with, Fox will take over. Do you have any objection? Carlos glanced at Fox, who had a blank expression on his face, and shook his head. But how can we make everyone understand the truth and kill Sloane in the heavily guarded No. 17 textile factory? Cohen and Fox looked at each other, and Carlos sensed something was wrong. Sure enough, the voice on the other end said with a smile, "Then I'll have to trouble you, Mr. Carlos." Textile Factory Number 17. An old building located on the seaside, after renovation, looks like a castle. With the identities of Fox and Wesley, the four of them entered smoothly. Seeing Carlos being tied up, all the Brotherhood members couldn't help but follow. In the hall, Sloane, with a gloomy look on his face, came forward with a large number of elite killers. "Fox, what's going on? Now that you have captured Carlos, you should get rid of him immediately." He glanced at Cohen and said, "How can you bring outsiders in?" Fox didn't answer, so Carlos spoke up. "How can she reveal your true identity if she doesn't bring me back alive?" Sloane's eyes turned cold. "We don't need to waste time talking to traitors, Fox. Kill him." As everyone watched, Fox held up a document with a white cloth on it. "Your name came up, Sloane, but why didn't you tell anyone?" Fox took 2 steps forward and showed the white piece of cloth to everyone. Sloane's name appeared on the loom of fate many years ago, but he concealed this fact. He used his power to read the loom to falsify lists, massacre innocent people, and make us all sinners. She walked up to the repairman and said, "Your name has appeared." She walked up to the butcher and said, "Your name has appeared." She walked up to the Russian and said, "Your name comes up too." The names of everyone present appeared. Finally, she confronted Sloane and said, "If you don't believe me, I think Sloane has the evidence." Everyone was shocked and looked at Sloane, who remained silent. He looked around and some people looked at him with shock, some looked at him with anger, and some looked at him with disbelief. "Do you know why I do this? Because I don't want you to die," he shouted. "Do you think this small textile factory can support so many people? How many bullets do you need for training? How much equipment do you need for your mission? How much does a treatment pool cost after you get injured? Do you think all this was caused by the wind? Do you know what the death rate was for Brotherhood members on missions 10 years ago, and what it is now? You enjoy everything I provide. Now you come to blame me?" The whole hall fell silent, with only the clang clang sound of the automatic loom. Cohen stepped forward and smiled. "Everyone in this room is guilty, and you are still speaking shamelessly here? Who are you?" "A person who never forgets his original intention." Sloane was stunned for a moment and remained silent. Then he slowly said, "That year, I was 21 years old and the newest member of the fraternity. There was another girl with me, who was 17 years old. We trained, grew up, and carried out missions together. We used the simplest equipment, but we assassinated the most heavily protected enemy. Every action was a life-threatening one, and she and I just gritted our teeth and held on. Our clothes were soaked with blood. Behind us we could hear a large group of enemies approaching, and the vehicle that was supposed to pick us up broke down on the road. In a dark alley, she said she was cold. What should I do? What can I do?" He faced the crowd like an orator. "From that day on, I made a decision. I would rather bear 1,000 or 10,000 sins than let my brothers and sisters die in front of me like this. That's right. Everyone, you have been carrying out missions for so many years. You have seen a lot of unscrupulous businessmen, politicians, and officials. Can you kill them all? This world is always dark. It was me who held an umbrella for you in the darkness." He walked up to Fox and said in a gloomy voice, "Now, if you take away this umbrella, everyone will get wet in the rain." Cohen walked up to him and said, "A miserable life is no reason for you to inflict suffering on others. You can take revenge, you can kill, but don't stab innocent people. The Brotherhood once saved this world from chaos and suffering, and it is the guardian of this world. You have defiled it. Not only it, but all the dead assassins in history. They are full of passion and justice, but they are all insulted because of you. If that girl back then saw you again, would she stab the dagger into your heart, or hold her hand in yours? All the previous Brotherhood leaders before you did not make the same choice as you. Are they too stupid, or are you too smart?" Cohen's eyes swept across everyone's faces, finally stopping at Sloane's face, looking straight into his eyes. "After all, you are the worst one." Sloane and Cohen looked at each other, with a mixture of light and dark in their eyes. Cohen turned his head and looked at the people behind him. Everyone, you have heard what we said, now, make your choice. It is to follow Mr. Sloane in betraying his beliefs and going down the same path to the end. It is better to stop in time and redeem your sins in the rest of your life. Your destiny is in your own hands. The people around me looked at each other, but no one moved. Sloane walked across from Cohen and stood straight, making his position clear. Cohen smiled and said, "Hurry up, time is running out." Finally, someone took action. The onlookers made their own choices. By the time everything was settled, dozens of official assassins of the Brotherhood had already made their choice. 50-50 open. Behind them, Wesley and Carlos both looked grim. They didn't expect the Brotherhood to have fallen to this level. It seems that it will be difficult to leave this place intact today. Cohen sighed softly, shook his head and said to Sloane and others, "Before we start, I have one last question for you. Do you think that in life, choice is more important, or hard work and talent are more important?" He didn't give anyone time to react. A bright and dazzling light, like a nuclear explosion, rose in front of Cohen. In an instant, everyone screamed, tears filled their eyes, and they lost their eyesight. Wesley and others had no idea what was going on. After a blankness in front of their eyes, they only heard 3 lightning-like crackling sounds, followed by the sound of slow gunfire. By the time they could barely see again, everyone on the opposite side, except Sloane, was lying in a pool of blood. Cohen slowly put the pistol back into his waist. What happened? Carlos rubbed his aching eyes and looked at the scene in disbelief. The enemy has been eliminated, Mr. Carlos. How did you do that? The others who gradually regained their sight were shocked when they saw what was happening and were all whispering to each other. Only Fox looked calm, as if he had expected it. Cohen walked up to Sloane, who was staring blankly at the corpses on the ground behind him. Let me introduce myself. My name is Cohen Wang, God's Knight of Punishment. I am happy to eliminate you personally. He grabbed Sloane by the neck like a chicken to be slaughtered. Coming to an automatic loom, I saw the shuttle shuttling at an extremely fast speed under the dense bundles of threads. Everyone guessed what he was going to do. But Sloane was their leader who had the final say just a few minutes ago. Cohen turned his head and said, "The scene below is very bloody, good kids, don't look at it." His powerful arms pushed Sloane's head down. Puff. The shuttle instantly pierced his temple, and the white thread was dyed a festive bright red. Those who witnessed all this had complicated expressions, and some even had tears in their eyes. No matter what, they are teammates who once fought side by side. Cohen clapped his hands to get their attention. Everyone, instead of feeling sad for him, why not think about yourselves? They died, but the Brotherhood could not become history with them. Go and wash away the stains of the Brotherhood, go and kill, and gain your own redemption. Sitting in Sloane's former office, Cohen is reviewing the harvest. Sloane is undoubtedly a silver-level prey. The progress of the silver gift package is 1/5. The progress of the iron and bronze gift packs has reached 3/37 and 17/31. I got a new iron-level gift pack, opened it, 3 attribute points, saved it. Also triggers an achievement. Congratulations on receiving the Spread the Creed Achievement Reward, Special Achievement Gift Pack. Cohen frowned. Spread the creed? But this creed of the system is obviously prepared for guilty people to atone for their sins. If this spreads on a large scale in the future, will this world have to resort to killing to achieve enlightenment? To join my cult, you need a murder weapon, a number of heads, a few hearts and livers, and a few dried bones. How cruel! Open the gift bag. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Master Level Skill Upgrade Card. Cohen looked at his mastery level skills, excluding Trap Mastery first. Then there's basketball. You can't really compete with the big guns for the championship. You're too invincible. How can that baboon king from Akron compete for the GOAT? As for being proficient in swimming and diving, what, you don't want to compete with Lauda anymore, but want to compete with Phelps instead. The only one that seems to be of value is Charge/Assault Rifle Mastery. To be precise, this ability does not only apply to submachine guns and assault rifles, but all similar automatic weapons. Long guns such as light and heavy machine guns are also included. After thinking about it, he did not use the upgrade card immediately. There is no special need at the moment, maybe a useful skill will be unlocked next time. Let's wait and see. That night, the Assassin Brotherhood underwent an unprecedented transformation. Cohen's words, "killing to gain redemption," may have only gained a little popularity, but as time goes by and Fox implements it, it will eventually become the true creed of the Brotherhood. It was already dark, so Cohen naturally stayed here for one night. The next morning, he woke up from the double bed feeling refreshed. It was a really good sleep. While reading the newspaper and eating breakfast, a piece of good news came into my sight. Stark finally flew to the fateful Afghanistan. He has been planning to make a lot of money for a long time. Based on the 16 million obtained before, plus fighting against gangs and occasionally picking up some unwanted waste paper. Total assets, $20 million. After a series of careful operations by David, the money was divided into more than a dozen small accounts, with leverage increased as high as possible, and all of them were used to short-sell Stark Industries stocks. In order to avoid attracting attention, David took several days to complete these operations. Now, he just needs to wait for the news that Stark is unfortunately injured and missing, and then he can make a fortune. But this is not the end. There is a lot of money to be made from this deal. Stark is missing and Stark Industries' stock price plummets. Stark returns and the stock price rises sharply. Stark announced the closure of its weapons R&D and production departments, causing a sharp drop in the stock price. Stark announced that he was Iron Man and the stock price soared. After Stark transformed the company into a green energy company, the stock continued to rise. As long as you grasp the timing right, new billionaires will be born. Kick open the supermodel door, and the king will never attend court again. In the evening, at the place where Cohen last met Black Widow, Coulson asked him out, and he wanted Cohen to explain what happened on the previous phone call. Black Widow, Hawkeye, and Coulson are all there. Natasha looked haggard, and it seemed that she had not had a good time in the past 2 days. Hawkeye also had a bleak look on his face. After Fury knew that Dreykov was still alive, he immediately launched an internal investigation. Their authority as senior agents was largely restricted. "Fuck, we are obviously innocent." Cohen had just stood still when a mellow and distinctive black voice came from behind him. "I don't know which name you prefer, Iron Man or Devil Face." Looking back, a big black man in a black windbreaker, looking majestic, was walking slowly towards this side. When Cohen saw him, his heart was shaken. "Is this the legendary Nick Fury? You're a fucking diamond level boss?" According to his understanding of the system, the level above the gold level is not the diamond level, but the platinum level. In other words, this black salted egg is 2 levels higher than the Black Widow. If I can kill him, will I be able to achieve success overnight? At least some Asgardian bloodline or a full set of Spider-Man abilities? Isn't that taking off? The more he thought about it, the happier he became, and the excitement in his eyes became more intense. "My hands are so itchy." On the other side, seeing the shock in Cohen's eyes, Nick Fury was very satisfied with his carefully designed appearance. "This is exactly the effect I want, Devil Face. Just surrender and serve me." However, when he walked in front of the Devil's Face, he found that the other party was looking him up and down with an extremely excited look. Something is wrong. What's worse, the other party grabbed his hand and refused to let go, as if he was reluctant to let some treasure leave his side. "Fuck, this is not right. There must be something wrong." Sure enough, from those eager eyes for a moment, he felt a murderous intent as strong as if it were tangible. In an instant, his whole body turned cold. "Damn it, why do you have such a strong murderous intention towards me? The one who's watching you is Coulson, and the one who's aiming the arrow at you is Patton. Do you hate me so much? Can we change the person?" He tried to calm his panicked heart, not showing any fear, and smiled. I am Nick Fury, the director of the Strategic Homeland Defense Attack and Logistics Support Agency. We are a huge country formed by the 5 most powerful countries in the world. Our organization is spread all over the world and is an important force in maintaining world stability and peace. There is nothing we cannot find as long as we want to investigate, and no one we are determined to catch will escape. Coulson and the other 2 were a little confused. What was the director doing? Why did he suddenly introduce the Security Bureau? And you brag about yourself like this, you are so shameless. Nick Fury didn't care about their surprised expressions at all and continued. Mr. Iron Man, are you interested in joining us? Come to think of it, there are many extraordinary people like you in our bureau. Maybe you can communicate and learn more from each other. Coulson's eyes widened instantly. A lot of extraordinary people? Boss, are you sleepwalking? These words calmed down the excited Cohen a lot. Nick Fury has a pager hidden on his body. If we kill him openly, he might be killed by a meteor from the sky one day. If you want to kill, you must have a legitimate reason. No matter whether the reason is reasonable, correct, true or not, as long as it leaves Aunt Marvel speechless, it's fine. At worst, we can just bow our heads in front of Fury's grave and admit our mistake. What a big deal. Cohen finally let go of Nick Fury's hand, leaving several white marks on his dark hand. Fury calmly reached his hand behind his back and said to Coulson, Well, I don't think Iron Man is someone who kills innocent people indiscriminately, so withdraw the dozens of snipers we have deployed around. Besides, I suddenly remembered that I forgot to turn off the gas stove at home, so you can talk to it for me today. After saying that, he turned around and left. Coulson and 3 others? He walked very fast, as if he was in a hurry. Looking at his back, Cohen felt lost and empty inside. Suddenly, a flash of inspiration struck his heart like lightning. The system has 2 criteria for determining the level of prey. One is its own strength, and the other is its own status. The reason why Nick Fury is so high in rank is obviously not because of his strength, but because he is the director of S.H.I.E.L.D. Think about it from another perspective. If U.S. President Obama is the prey, how high can his level be? Diamond or higher? There's something going on. Of course, assassinating the U.S. president is not very realistic, but there are plenty of people like this who have high status, weak strength, and are prey. Having made up his mind, he turned around and looked at Coulson and the other 2. Black Widow and Hawkeye were fine, but Coulson was obviously a little embarrassed. He forced a smile on his face. Haha, Director Fury really loves to joke. There are no snipers around, I promise. Cohen deadpanned. The smile on Coulson's face slowly disappeared, and he shrugged, pursed his lips, and snapped his fingers. He felt a chill in his heart. Before the meeting, the director had specifically instructed him not to show any hostility, so he did not arrange any agents such as snipers. But now, he had 1,000 FAKs to say in his heart. The murderer in front of him had hundreds of lives on his hands. Even with Hawkeye and Black Widow around, he was still very nervous. Cohen was thinking about the president and didn't notice his expression. He waved his hand and said, What do you want from me this time? Coulson was glad to get right to the point. Last time you said that there would be a big disaster in New York soon. The director asked me to ask you if any gangsters have offended you recently? How about you control yourself and kill fewer people? Cohen's eyes widened. What? This is the impression you have of me now? It's so slanderous. Are you crazy? I'm not a villain who kills innocent people. I am a hero who executes justice and punishes evil. Hero. Do you know what this word means? Coulson nodded rapidly. Hero, I'll issue you a certificate right away. Cohen rolled his eyes fiercely and disdained to explain. There will be a disaster in New York because the underground gangsters, the Hand, want to summon the ancient demon god. According to my intelligence, it will be tonight. Coulson and the other 2 were all stunned. Summoning a demon? Those little Karamis of the Hand can only summon the demon god, but they can never control his power. Once the devil descends, New York will be in great trouble, with countless lives lost and rivers of blood flowing. Only 1 in 10 people will survive. Of course, the more crucial thing is that this demon is most likely here to deal with him specifically. However, there was no need for him to tell S.H.I.E.L.D. about this. Good. Coulson swallowed. I looked at Black Widow and Hawkeye, not knowing what to say. He took out his cell phone and said, "Wait a minute, I have to inform the director of this situation." He dialed the phone. "Hey, Coulson, what is that guy going to do again? Which unlucky person has offended this murderer this time? Is he going to kill again?" Fury's voice was played directly. "Chief, this is really a disaster. Mr. Iron Man said that the New York Mafia hand wants to summon the ancient demon. If they succeed, all of New York will be in disaster," Coulson said anxiously. For some reason, he didn't tell Frickin that he was also on the phone. "Summoning a demon, is this true or false?" Nick Fury stretched out his voice, as if thinking. "Is it possible that he is lying to you, Coulson, and have you become tougher in your attitude towards him? You are just too nice. To deal with a murderer like this, you should just yell at him in his face. You see, I wasn't afraid of him at all. The devil-faced Iron Man was nothing but a little Karami in my eyes." Coulson glanced at Cohen, a smirk on his face, looking helpless. Cohen nodded calmly. Black Widow and Hawkeye widened their eyes and said, "Coulson, you have become a bad guy." "No, you have become evil. Hawkeye Barton is an honest man." He wanted to step forward to stop it, and tell Director Fury that the killer, himself, was still there. But when he thought about Fury's distrust of him in the past few days, he hesitated. Fury continued. "In my opinion, even if the hand really wants to summon the devil, this matter must be related to the bad guy Devil Face. You better keep a close eye on him, maybe he is trying to divert your attention. It would be best if he could tell me what he eats and what he poops every day." Hee hee. Director Fury is really smart. The hand did have some ideas about how to deal with me when they summoned the demon this time. But the people of New York are innocent after all. Do you just want to sit back and do nothing? As for what I pull every day, don't worry, I can pack it and send it to you. Silence. Deathly silence. Beep, beep, beep. The phone was hung up. Coulson smiled sincerely. It seems that the director already knows what's going on. Mr. Iron Man, time is running out, why don't we discuss how to deal with it? Cohen nodded. It's simple, find them and kill them. Coulson's eyes lit up. What's the plan? The first step is to be prepared. Coulson nodded. And then? Step 2, wait for the bald man. What? 8 p.m., Midtown Financial Building. According to the information sent back by the 9 spiders, this is where the hand intends to summon the demon. However, information about the summoning was extremely confidential even within the hand, so she only received a small part of the information. In front of the building is a large square. At the other end of the square, across the street, there is a building more than 10 stories high. On the rooftop, Cohen and others gathered. Hawkeye and Black Widow of S.H.I.E.L.D., and Agent May, Agent Ward and Ramlo led by Coulson. On Cohen's side, there is a 3-person sniper team consisting of Blade, Wade, Fox, Carlos, and Wesley. As soon as Cohen saw Agents Ward and Ramlo, he was interested. S.H.I.E.L.D. has so many talented people. At this time, Nick Fury's voice came from the headset. Check the channel, can everyone hear it? Cohen was the first to answer. Yes, I can hear it. Hey Fury, what are your hobbies? I know there's a reservoir with lots of fish, let's go fishing together someday. On the rooftop, everyone else looked at him strangely. Nick Fury on the other end of the phone was also confused. Who am I to go fishing with you? You must be trying to drown me or strangle me with the fishing line. Iron Man, please do not talk about anything unrelated to this operation on the public channel. Cohen said anxiously. Do you have any other channels? We can chat privately. No! Nick Fury seems to be offline for the time being. Cohen shook his head helplessly, then saw Coulson, rolled his eyes, walked over and hugged his shoulders. Coulson, how many years have you been a member of S.H.I.E.L.D.? More than 20 years. Coulson looked confused, not knowing why he asked this question. So you joined SHIELD right after graduation, right? We haven't adopted that abbreviation yet, but I did join SHIELD right after graduation. From this perspective, you have made great contributions. Have you ever thought about making a leap forward one day? Coulson's eyes widened instantly, and he quickly covered the communication headset. Fuck, what are you talking about? I don't have such a ridiculous idea. My loyalty to the director is beyond the reach of heaven and earth. What are you afraid of? He's offline. Coulson shook his head. You are young, you are still too young. Our director is an old and cunning, old agent who always keeps things in reserve. He must be using some method now. Seeing that Coulson was scared, Cohen had to let go of his shoulders, but he didn't give up. Tomorrow night at 8:30, there's a decent restaurant in Chinatown. Interested in chatting? Before Coulson could answer, Black Sauce's voice came through the headset again. Please don't talk about anything unrelated to this operation on the public channel. In addition, there are a dozen unlucky guys working overtime in the financial building, Coulson. Go and pick them up, remember not to alert the enemy. Otherwise, you might end up in a very dangerous situation. Coulson's face turned pale and he looked at Cohen sadly. Fuck, this kind of dangerous operation was not originally my turn. Cohen's eyes widened, and he shouted in the channel. Black Salted Egg, let me tell you, Coulson is my half-brother. If anything happens to him, I will avenge you for him, no matter who comes to help. After yelling, he looked at the confused crowd and snorted coldly. Then, he raised a smile and clapped his hands. Everyone meeting his fate. Since we are lucky enough to carry out the mission together, I suggest that we come up with a group name. The others looked at him strangely, but Cohen didn't care at all. Does anyone have any good ideas? Wade stroked his chin in a thoughtful manner. How about we call Wade and his boys? Cohen pointed at him and said, You lose the right to speak from now on. Next one. Black Widow and Hawkeye looked at each other, and no one spoke. Okay, I'll come up with a name. From now on we'll be called the Avengers. I am the leader of the Alliance, and you are all official members. Hello, Avengers. On the other side, Nick Fury, who was directing the whole thing behind the scenes, was carefully bringing a cup of piping hot coffee to his mouth. When he heard the names, Avengers, he was shocked and subconsciously took a big gulp to calm down. Puff. In a panic, the coffee spilled, and the hot juice poured onto his private parts like a depilatory water. Fuck. No, my ball. Listening to the pig slaughtering sound in the headphones, everyone on the roof looked at each other in surprise, not knowing what was going on. Ha ha. Cohen sneered. Coulson prepared to enter the building and everyone began to divide the work. Fox and his two companions acted as long-range snipers, providing cover for everyone. The SHIELD agents worked with the New York Police Department, which had received the news long ago, to set up 3 lines of defense around the building. Cohen, Wade, Blade, Black Widow, Hawkeye, May, Ward, Rumlow and others were responsible for the attack. As the personnel were getting in place, Cohen felt his cell phone vibrate in his pocket. It was a message from David Reddy. At this moment, he suddenly felt an inexplicable breath rising from the opposite building. The hand summoning ceremony has most likely begun. It seems that the bald woman will not come. TSK, what a dereliction of duty! Suddenly, fierce gunfire was heard in the building, and Coulson shouted in the communication channel. Fuck, they are not human. Retreat, retreat immediately. Coulson. What happened? Fury asked anxiously. They turned to ash. They turned to ash after they died. There are too many of them. We can't resist them. Retreat to the exit immediately, snipers ready to respond. All personnel, guns loaded, ready to fight. On the top of the building, with Cohen's ability, he could easily see Coulson and several other surviving agents running frantically towards the exit in the lobby on the first floor of the building. Behind them, there followed a large group of ghostly and swift red-clad ninjas armed with knives, forks, swords, and halberds. This is the Shadow Ninja of the Hand. Bang! Bang! Fox and his two companions opened fire, and after the bullets hit the ninjas, they instantly turned into ashes. Somewhat similar to vampires, but also very different. The key point is that in just a few breaths, hundreds of ninjas have poured out of the hall on the first floor. It's endless, with almost no end in sight. Something is not right. These ninjas have extremely high physical fitness and strong combat awareness. Once they spread out from the entrance of the building and into the neighborhood, the defense line formed by ordinary people like S.H.I.E.L.D. and the New York Police Department will not be enough to resist them. Everyone saw this situation and couldn't help but gasp. The Hand must have discovered them long ago and created this army of ninjas to deal with them. At this moment, gunshots rang out and a large number of bullets were fired towards the exit of the building, but they only suppressed the ninjas. Although ashes continued to explode, the overall hit rate was very low. Coulson covered his injured arm and ran over here in embarrassment. Cohen took a deep breath and said, "Black salted egg, where are your aircraft carriers and fighter jets? Call them over and kill them." Nick Fury sighed. "It's too late. The aircraft carrier is far away on the high seas. These monsters will break through the defense line in a few minutes. If they want the US government to agree to bomb Manhattan, those damn bureaucrats will definitely not be able to come to a conclusion within a few hours of discussion. Even if I let the fighters take off without permission, New York's air defenses would not let them in." Cohen rolled his eyes. "So what's your heaviest firepower right now?" "RPG and vehicle-mounted M134 rapid-fire machine gun." "M134 rapid-fire machine gun?" Cohen opened the system instantly, and the master-level skill upgrade card clicked and turned into a ray of light. Soon, the skill bar changed Charge/Assault Rifle Master. "Humph. Nick Fury, you are such a lucky little egg." "What?" "I need your gun." "What gun?" Cohen had a smile on his face. Of course, he was the Gatling Bodhisattva who sang 3,600 times in one breath and saved the world with great compassion. Cohen jumped down from the top of the building. The dagger drew a streak of fire on the wall, and his figure was graceful and handsome. He crossed the long street and came to the square in front of the building, with 2 guns in hand and bullets spraying. Although it was not enough to kill all these ninjas, it did slow down their offensive. Behind him, a black van, under the cover of numerous firepower, made a beautiful drift and stopped behind him. The side door opened and a black 6-barrel Gatling gun protruded out. "Sir, M134 is in position." Cohen leaped back and came to the carriage. Click, click, click. The hinges of the machine gun made a mechanical friction sound as he turned. Looking at the red-clad ninja rushing towards him, a smile appeared on his face. According to the system, these guys are all bronze-level prey. This time, his harvest might be even more abundant than that vampire's blood feast. With a thought, the ability of the compound eyes was instantly activated. Da-da-da. 6 pitch-black gun barrels instantly fired blazing bullets. Moment! It was as if a storm had blown up in the square. Dust filled the air, gravel flew everywhere, and ghosts cried and wolves howled. The shadow ninjas were fearless and continued to charge out from the lobby of the building, but a blazing fire snake suppressed them. Financial building underground parking lot. An altar with intricate lines shimmers with light. With every flash, many ninjas in red walked out. They had wooden faces and walked skillfully towards the stairs, forming a long army of ninjas. There is a second underground floor beneath this altar. A group of priests wearing red ghost masks and scarlet robes surrounded Daredevil, chanting something. Kingpin and the Hand stood aside. Kingpin was wearing his customary white suit and holding a cane. He frowned and his eyes occasionally swept over 2 familiar figures beside him, Murakami and Soanda. 2 people who had already been killed by the Devil Face. He asked his insider in the police station about the situation that day. According to the police officers who cleaned up the scene, the entire lower bodies of the 2 guys were worn away. But now, they are standing here alive again. At this time, a man in a blue suit walked in panic and shouted hurriedly, "Boss, it's not good, the shadow ninjas are suppressed. That Iron Man is very fierce, he can hold down the ninjas with his gun and prevent them from leaving the house. Mrs. Gao was puzzled. A gun? How is that possible? The man in the blue suit reacted. He used a Gatling gun. Everyone present was stunned. I've never seen such an accurate machine gunner. His hit rate is at least 30%. It's incredible. The ninjas are resurrecting faster and faster, and the resurrection altar will soon be unable to support it. Alexandra, the leader of the Five Fingers, was silent for a moment, then turned to look at a man in a corner. He was shirtless, with a large black wolf spider tattooed on his chest. La Muerto, Black Wolf Spider, I have come from thousands of miles away to find you. It's time for you to appear. The man was silent, nodded, and walked outside. Alexandra seemed reassured by his abilities and turned back to watching the ceremony. In front of them, the summoning ceremony was coming to an end. The skin of that which waits in the darkness, the thing that hungers to end humanity itself, the god of the shadows. Come! One of the priests suddenly took off his red ghost mask, revealing his old face and white hair and beard. Black mist emanated from his hands. Black spell of the soul. Accept our offering and present this perfect vessel to you. You will be the supreme ruler, and the era of mankind will end here, and no one will be spared except the snake root. Suddenly an indescribable force descended. Daredevil, who was surrounded by red priests, let out a shrill cry and his body twisted, as if something was drilling into his body. Seeing this creepy scene, Jean Bing's heart couldn't help but skip a beat. Can these guys from the Hand really summon the power of the devil? What do they want to do? While he was thinking, he did not notice that the 5 fingers of the palm of hand were looking at each other secretly, with excitement flashing in their eyes. The M134 sprayed fire snakes as much as it could, and the ninjas rushed towards Cohen stubbornly like angry flat-headed badgers. In his mind, the system prompt sound kept ringing. Ding 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 ding. It's like a perfect symphony. Even when he was shooting, he still found time to open all the gift packs. A lot of information flooded into my mind. Congratulations on receiving the reward, free attribute value, 4 points. Congratulations on receiving the reward, aircraft carrier driving mastery. One more reason to kill Nick Fury. Congratulations on triggering the first 30 kill streak reward, free attribute value, 30. Damn, it's so hard to get the kill streak reward. Congratulations on receiving the reward, free attribute value, 5 points. Congratulations on triggering the first 50 kill streak reward, free attribute value, 50. Scored twice. After all the bronze gift packs and kill streak gift packs were opened, Cohen obtained 3 skills and hundreds of attribute points. Proficient in aircraft carrier driving, CD, LOL, and 108 free attribute points. A wave of wealth. Just as he was feeling happy, he suddenly spotted a strange guy among a group of charging ninjas. The system gave him the feeling, gold-level prey. He was shirtless, with a black wolf spider tattoo on his chest, and his speed was extremely fast, clearly far beyond human limits. He did not rush forward like other ninjas, but instead used the cover of the red ninja to rush left and right. After walking out of the hall, he ignored Cohen, crossed the square diagonally, and rushed towards the blockade on the side. Seeing this, Cohen twisted the muzzle of his gun, and a fierce fire snake licked the black wolf spider's heels. But he was extremely flexible and strong. He smashed the stone flower bed with one punch, and with a flick of his hand, a stone weighing hundreds of kilograms shot towards Cohen at high speed. Crack! Cohen quickly turned his gun around and followed the rock like an anti-aircraft gun, smashing it into pieces before it hit the van. After this short period of interference, the black wolf spider has approached the first blockade line. Soon screams were heard from the other side. Nick Fury yelled into the communication headset. Fuck, what kind of monster is this? Who can stop him? Cohen saw a shadow passing by, which should be the arrow shot by Hawkeye. It seemed to hit him, but the black wolf spider did not stop. Cohen's face changed slightly. He was very sure that he had been hit by at least several bullets just now. But he wasn't hurt either. This is a 7.62 mm bullet. Add to that the fact that he can throw hundreds of kilograms of rocks at will while running at top speed, and he must have terrifying strength. Cohen kept trying to lock his gun on him, but the trees, flower beds and vehicles blocked his view and he lost a lot of shooting angles. In this short period of time, several police cars were thrown into the sky and landed accurately on several firing points on the first line of defense. The moment it landed, a powerful explosion occurred. There were wailings everywhere, and the first line of defense collapsed in just a few breaths. That modified police car weighs almost 3 tons and can throw them into the air and hit the target. The power of this Black Wolf Spider is at least more than 5 tons. Fuck, is the gold level guy so strong? Black Widow is also at gold level. It seems that her identity as S.H.I.E.L.D.'s ace agent is a great help to her. At this moment, he suddenly realized that although this guy had gone around in a circle, his final target seemed to still be him. Blade, Hawkeye, Black Widow and others tried to stop him, but he kept coming closer. Fake. Cohen immediately communicated with the system and added all 108 free attribute points to my strength. In an instant, his strength reached 169. If the explosion of dragon energy is added, his strength can instantly reach more than 5 tons. But this is not enough. I took a look at the system. At this time, Iron level prey 3 of 37. Bronze prey 12 of 49. Silver level prey 1 out of 5. Gold level prey 0 to 1. He immediately turned the gun around and ignored the Black Wolf Spider rushing towards him, and instead aimed at the Shadow Ninja again. Duh. Cohen watched the Black Wolf Spider leap up and pounce on him from the corner of his eye, his expression unchanged. The system rang as promised. Ding! Congratulations on obtaining the 1000 kills achievement, Special Achievement Pack. A smile appeared on Cohen's face. This is what he was waiting for. Open immediately. Congratulations on receiving the rewards. Ability Upgrade Card, Bloodline Fusion Card. Without any hesitation, he immediately used the Ability Upgrade Card. Then, a thought came to his mind and he exploded. He leaped up like a tiger and attacked the Black Wolf Spider in midair. The two men approached each other quickly, and Cohen could even see the fierceness in each other's eyes. A sneer appeared on the corner of his mouth, as if he was mocking Cohen's arrogance. But Cohen is the same. The moment they were about to touch, a dazzling white light burst out in front of the Black Wolf Spider, and in an instant, everything in front of his eyes turned white. He was a little panicked when he suddenly lost his sight. The next moment, he felt the air being squeezed, and then a punch hit him hard in the face. And all his own attacks failed. As he felt a sharp pain on his face, his body was blown away by the huge force. He flew backwards uncontrollably and fell heavily to the ground. Fortunately, his physique was strong enough, and in a short period of time, his eyesight recovered a lot. In the dim light, he saw several silver snakes flying towards him. The next moment, extreme pain and numbness engulfed the entire body. His skin began to crack, blood flowed out instantly, and his bones creaked as if they would break at any moment. At this moment, he realized that what he had just seen was not a silver snake, but powerful lightning. Seeing that the enemy was about to attack again, his strong desire to survive made him burst out with a powerful force. He slapped the ground with his hand and his body flew up. The thigh muscles were compressed more violently than ever before, and the powerful force directly pressed a small hole in the ground. He moved like a shot and instantly dived into the crowd of red-clad ninjas. The next second, Cohen's lightning attack arrived as expected. Dozens of lightning bolts followed the Black Wolf Spider and slammed into the group of ninjas. In an instant, hundreds of ashes flew into the air. Everyone present was stunned. This confrontation lasted only a few seconds, but it shocked everyone. Nick Fury swallowed. Damn it, the strength of the man with the wolf spider tattoo had already shocked him greatly, but Iron Man shocked him even more. What the hell, if you have this ability, just show it earlier. Why would I want to arrest you before? It's too late to provide for you. I regret it so much. This guy is definitely a big ink pen. Wade, Blade, and Black Widow were together. They wanted to stop the Black Wolf Spider, but failed. Looking at the silver-white lightning not far away, his eyes widened. My God, he is simply the legendary Thunder God. Blade's eyes widened. Fuck, you have this strength, why didn't you use it when you beat Frost? Did you think I wasn't beaten hard enough? As for the others, they were all stunned. At a time when superheroes had not yet appeared in front of the world in large numbers, Cohen gave them a little shock of supernatural power. On the other side, Cohen looked at the hundreds of ninjas who turned into ashes in an instant, and he was not too excited. Because he saw clearly that the Black Wolf Spider was not dead. The opponent was also smart. After rushing into the crowd, the power of lightning was dispersed. After killing hundreds of ninjas, the damage to him was very little. At this moment, amidst the flying ashes, the Black Wolf Spider stood quietly in front of the building. He pulled out a bottle of black potion from somewhere and drank it in one gulp. In an instant, the wolf spider tattoo on his chest glowed and the spider's legs trembled slightly, as if it had come back to life. His injuries recovered quickly and his aura was rising. Even better than before the injury. Cohen looked solemn. Just now, he upgraded electricity control without hesitation, and now it evolved into thunder control. His ability to store and release lightning in his body has been greatly enhanced. The previous lightning attack at the electricity control level can be released hundreds of times. However, like just now, the powerful lightning that could kill hundreds of bronze-level prey with one full-strength strike could only be released 3 or 4 times. Seeing the Black Wolf Spider's eager expression, he released it again without hesitation. Dozens of lightning bolts quickly crossed the night sky and pounced on the enemy fiercely. This time, the Black Wolf Spider didn't even dodge. Under the bombardment of thunder and lightning, he roared to the sky, but he endured it. The Black Wolf Spider tattoo on his chest became swollen and turned dark red, and his eyes flashed with a ferocious light that was not human. Iron Man, you're looking for death. Cohen was not panicked. He stared at him for a while, smiled coldly, stretched out his hand, and hooked his index finger. If you have the guts, come over here. The Black Wolf Spider raised the corner of its mouth, revealing its sharp teeth. Hee hee, here I come. As soon as he finished speaking, he jumped suddenly, as high as 6 or 7 stories, like an eagle, with his arms spread out, and pounced on Cohen. This scene left everyone stunned. Wade put his head in his hands. This is not fair, he's on drugs. Fury clenched his fists. Screw the New York Air Defense Force. I don't care. Fighter jets, blow him to death. Cohen, on the other hand, didn't even look at the Black Wolf Spider, but instead stared at the ground. He leaned down and punched the ground, breaking it into pieces. He reached out his hand, reached into a hole, grabbed a thick object, and pulled it upwards. He pulled a black high-voltage cable as thick as an arm out of the ground. With a fong opening, the tough insulating rubber was torn apart instantly, revealing the yellow copper wire. Only at this moment did he look up and look at the Black Wolf Spider in the air. His lightning control only had the power of 3 or 4 hits when attacking with all his strength. But on the other hand, his ability to become immune to lightning attacks has also been upgraded. Now, he can directly absorb electrical energy to replenish his strength. The moment my palm touched the high-voltage wire, all the lights on the surrounding streets flashed. A huge amount of electrical energy is pouring in. His whole body was emitting a silvery white light, and all his clothes were burned to ashes in an instant. Endless tiny electric arcs surrounded him. Feeling the stinging pain brought by the overload of power, he grinned and said, I'll tell you a secret. I'm going to pass the name Iron Man to someone else. Next time, please call me Thor. As soon as he finished speaking, endless thunder erupted instantly, and the silver-white light stung everyone's eyes. The lights in half of the surrounding city went out in an instant, leaving only the dazzling light here, illuminating half of the sky. The Black Wolf Spider was very strong after taking drugs. The wolf spider tattoo on his chest showed its sharp fangs like a living creature and roared at Cohen. But even so, He only lasted a few seconds in the thunder before smoke began to appear all over his body and his skin was charred. Cohen even has some energy left. He pointed towards the lobby of the building, and a silver dragon composed of hundreds of lightning bolts roared out. Along the way, all the red-clothed ninjas were turned into ashes. Even more, the silver dragon followed the ninjas all the way inside, rushed into the stairs, rushed into the basement, and rushed into the resurrection altar. In an instant the altar, which was already unable to bear the weight, collapsed instantly, and with a flash of light, it shattered. In the square, violent thunder was releasing its enormous power wantonly. Finally, with a deafening explosion, the sky full of lightning turned into a dazzling white light that bloomed violently over the square. The eyes of everyone present were stung by the white light. When they regained their sight, they looked at the square and saw it was in a mess and empty. There is no more Red Ninja, no more Black Wolf Spider, and no more Iron Man! Fake! Wade yelled and rushed forward, followed closely by Blade, and the others saw this and hurried to follow. Everyone ran to the center of the square. The ground was covered with dust, but there was no one in sight. Wade searched and searched, his eyes dull. Did they both die together? But I can't find even a bone. He picked up a handful of ash from the ground and observed it carefully. Could it have all turned to ash? After thinking for a moment, he grabbed a handful and stuffed it into his pocket, muttering, "Oh, my friend, you are a true hero." Dowfing's face didn't look good either, but he always felt strange. How could that guy die so easily? Nick Fury saw this scene on the monitor and jumped up from his chair. Damn it! Black Wolf Spider, you son of a bitch, did it. Pretty! He calmed down his excitement and adopted a serious tone. Everyone, although we have lost Iron Man, for the safety of the people of New York, the mission must be carried out. Don't worry, everyone. I guarantee in the name of S.H.I.E.L.D. that he will be given a proper burial. Now, you need to enter the building, capture the members of the Hand, and put an end to this disaster once and for all. Several people in the square looked at each other, and finally Black Widow spoke up. He has a point. The enemy has not been completely eliminated yet. Wade snorted coldly. Let me tell you, I'm not doing this for some shitty people. Although Iron Man is not a good guy, he can be considered my friend. I'm going to avenge him. After Wade finished speaking, he walked into the building angrily, and Blade followed closely without saying a word. In the distance, Wesley's eyes were slightly red. Fox, are we going in together? No, we'll stay here. But this is an order. Fox lay on the roof, watching everything that happened in the square through the sniper rifle telescope. Looks indifferent. As Wade took a step into the hall, a dark shadow flashed, and then a size 58 shoe was printed on his size 48 face. Fact! He yelled and flew out. The people behind him stopped immediately. The person who appeared in front of them was a guy wearing a red uniform, with black aura all over his body, dark eyes, black lines all over his face, and looked like a devil. After all, Hawkeye Patton had followed Devilface in Hell's Kitchen, so he knew this guy who was also famous in Hell's Kitchen. But it was precisely because he recognized him that he took a deep breath. Daredevil? Blade was shocked. How could Daredevil become like this? Wade, who fell to the ground, stood up and rushed over angrily. I don't care if you are Daredevil or a real devil. Bastard, you scared the kids with your appearance. Get out of here. He brandished two long swords and pounced forward. Puff. The two swords stabbed straight into Daredevil's chest. Everyone was shocked. When did this guy become so powerful? Only Wade noticed something was wrong. When he tried to pull back the knives, no matter how hard he tried, the two knives didn't move at all. Daredevil, who was stabbed in the chest by him, didn't even grunt. He tilted his head and stared at him with his dark eyes. He was a little confused. Huh! I have never encountered such a situation before. The next moment, he was kicked out again. The two long knives were still stuck in the chest of the demonized Daredevil. Within a few breaths, the parts of the long knives that were inserted into Daredevil's body seemed to be corroded by some strong acid. Clang! It broke into 2 pieces and fell to the ground. Hiss! Everyone gasped. Seeing this scene, Nick Fury also felt a little dizzy. Suddenly, a thought popped up in his mind. Iron Man, where are you? Come back soon. Cohen certainly did not turn to ashes. A few minutes ago, when there was a huge thunder and lightning explosion and everyone lost their sight, he carried the unconscious Black Wolf Spider into the sewer. There is a manhole cover in the middle of the square. After entering, the main road was narrow, so he dragged the Black Wolf Spider for a few steps and came to a slightly wider place. Jiu and David were waiting for him here. They prepared some things in advance, including a large metal-insulated barrel that was more than 1 person tall. There are also a bunch of liquid nitrogen tanks nearby. This was something he had specially prepared for the 2 of them, to provide a completely new way of dying for the most worthy target in this battle. 196 degrees below zero. Crunchy. As a gold-level prey, the Black Wolf Spider is obviously worthy of him using this method. He shared David's shirt and trousers, then, with a resentful look in his eyes, tied up the Black Wolf Spider tightly and electrocuted him to wake him up. The 9 spiders took the initiative to move forward and injected the Black Wolf Spider with a variety of toxins. Some made him painful, some made him itchy, some made him excited, and some made him hallucinate. Anyway, tease his emotions and accumulate emotional levels. Under the combined effects of multiple toxins, the Black Wolf Spider finally lost its will and slowly began to go crazy. When he reached a certain point, Cohen pushed him directly into a metal drum filled with liquid nitrogen and screwed the lid on. Then he looked at Jiu and said, "Let's go and meet the chief planner of this Advent ceremony, Ms. Alexandra." David stopped them and said, Boss, the situation up there is not good." Cohen frowned. "What?" David looked at the small monitor in his hand. The team led by Black Widow, Blade and Patton were now being beaten to a pulp. After transforming into a demon, Daredevil is extremely powerful. The team above can't hold on any longer. Cohen waved his hand. "Don't worry, there are real heroes among them. They can hold on. Oh, and ask Fox and the others to take good care of Wade and Blade." David shrugged and said no more. Cohen and Jiu went several dozen meters deeper into the sewer. Jiu stopped and pointed ahead. "I have measured it these days. There's only 1 wall between there and the second underground floor of the financial building." Cohen nodded, walked over, and with a few punches the wall collapsed. Opposite was the second underground floor of the financial building, where the summoning ceremony had just taken place. The altar is still there, but now it is empty. The 2 ignored these things and walked straight forward. Jiu was holding some instruments in his hands, seemingly measuring the direction. Soon, once she was sure, Cohen threw another punch, and a few punches later, an elevator shaft appeared in front of him. Going down, there is a pitch-black corridor. But Cohen knew that this was the place where the bones of Manhattan were buried. He had been wondering ever since he heard the news that the 5 fingers of the hand were going to summon the devil. Although he killed 2 fingers, were the remaining 3 really so loyal that they would avenge them? Impossible, these old guys don't have such good hearts. Then their purpose of going to so much trouble to summon the demon is questionable. It wasn't until he learned that the summoning ceremony took place in the basement of the Midtown Financial Building that he understood instantly. The target of the 5 fingers has always been the Dragon Bone. The so-called summoning of the devil for revenge is just a means to paralyze and block the enemy. 5 Fingers was planning, and he was also planning. Only this time, he was the one who came from behind. On the 7th floor of the financial building, in the large conference room, Kingpin and the Snake-Root priests were all here. 5 Fingers are not there. They were all paying attention to the battle downstairs, and when they saw Daredevil defeating a group of people alone, they all had satisfied smiles on their faces. The white-haired old priest of the Snake-Root priest group sneered. "Ha, the Shadow Realm is about to come, and these people can't resist the will of the Demon Lord. They will all become slaves of my god." One of the older priests glanced at Jean Bing, who was not far away, and said in a low voice, "Alexandra and the other 5 did not catch up. Don't know what to do." They must be planning something. The white-haired old priest stared at Daredevil downstairs, thought for a moment, and shook his head. I have long guessed that they must have some conspiracy. But it is enough for us to serve the god of the beast well. Soon, his power will cover the entire Manhattan, and then we will have absolute power. Even though the 5 of them are the nominal leaders of the Hand, they must obey the commander of Snakeroot Grass. The others all nodded. They didn't realize that while they were having a secret conversation, Jean Bing had left quietly. He turned into a side room where a man in a blue suit was waiting for him. As soon as he saw him, Kingpin asked, "Chiriki, where is Five Fingers?" The man in the suit shook his head. "I don't know. I have been lurking for so many years, and I only vaguely discovered that there seems to be a hidden place in the building. But I don't know where the entrance is." Jean Bing frowned. "You mean, where did they hide?" Kiriki shook his head. "It shouldn't be hiding. That place is very important. It seems to have a lot to do with their resurrection technique, but I don't know what it is specifically." Kingpin frowned and nodded. Chiriki was an insider he had planted inside the Hand many years ago, and he had been providing him with information about the Five Fingers. Otherwise, how could he feel comfortable cooperating with them? "I see that the Five Fingers and the Snakeroot cult are not as friendly as they appear?" "Yes, Snakeroot holds many secrets of the Hand-in-Hand Society, and is therefore worshipped by the Five Fingers, but has no power. Snakeroot wanted to be in power, but Five Fingers thought they were too greedy, so they had not spent anything on the coming of the beast. It wasn't until a year ago that Alexandra got a chance to enter the secret vault of the Snakeroot priests, and she seemed to know something inside. After coming out, we started preparing for the coming ceremony of the beast." Jean Bing sneered. "So, what Madame Gao told me about the Hand suffering heavy losses and wanting revenge on Devilface was all lies?" Kiriki nodded. Jean Bing thought for a while and said, "Forget it, just ignore them for now. Is the information you found out about controlling the beast true or false?" "It is true. When the Snakeroot summoned, it said the beast is the supreme ruler. In fact, they used some means to control the beast's descending body. It's the red ghost mask in their hands. With it, you can control the demonized Daredevil. The Snakeroot priests do not want to be slaves of the beast at all, but its masters. This is the reason why they turned against Five Fingers." Kingpin nodded. "Since I can see what Snakeroot is secretly planning, I'm sure the Five Fingers can see it too. They invited me to join this plan, probably just to find an opponent for the Snakeroot priests, to check and balance each other, so that their own plans can go more smoothly." Kiriki nodded. "But Five Fingers may not know that the priests can control the demonized Daredevil." Jean Bing smiled, with a cold light flashing in his eyes. "What a mess. It seems that who can win in the end depends on personal ability." Chiriki smiled and said, "I don't know who will win in the end, but the guys from the priest group will definitely be the first to be eliminated. A group of old guys who have been living in luxury and studying ancient books for many years are too naive to use tricks." Jean Bing chuckled and said, "Well, Chiriki, go teach them a lesson. After taking off the red ghost mask, we will go and see what conspiracy the Five Fingers have planned." "Yes." Deep underground, there is a huge underground space. A huge stone door stands upright. Five Fingers stood in front of the stone gate. Behind them, there was Erica, who bowed her head respectfully. At this moment, the stone gate was turbulent, and a golden force and a black force were fighting. The Five Fingers stared intently, and from their wide eyes, clenched hands, and stiff bodies, it could be seen that they were quite nervous. Will it succeed? Yes. The beast's power is extremely corrosive. It will definitely be able to open this stone door. The seal of the first Iron Fist is too strong. We have tried every possible way in the past few years, but have not been able to break it. The power of the beast god is our only hope. What if it still doesn't work? This plan is so massive, we could be exposed at any time. Why are you panicking? Haven't we already dug a new evacuation route? If the elevator shaft is discovered, blow it up. It should be abandoned anyway. Stop fighting. Alexandra waved her hand to silence them. If the power of the beast cannot open this door, we can only evacuate here temporarily and wait for the contemporary Iron Fist to come down the mountain. But I want to remind you that there are not many dragon bones brought out from Kunlun. Plus, if we revive Murakami and Soenda, the 5 of us may not be able to hold on until then. Hearing this, Murakami and Soenda looked embarrassed. You can't blame us for this. We didn't expect that demon face to be so powerful. And that loser Kingpin, 2 traitors sneaked into a team of 9 people, how useless. As the 2 of them argued, the confrontation on the stone gate began to change. The black demonic energy suppressed the golden energy. Soon, with a crack appeared in the stone door. Opened. Great. There's a whole dragon skeleton in here. It's enough for us to live for thousands of years. 5 people stepped forward and blasted open the stone door in a few strokes. A huge dragon bone appeared in front of everyone. Just then, a dull sound suddenly came from the elevator shaft behind them. Then, the elevator door was blown away by a punch, and 2 figures, a man and a woman, walked out. Koen. Seeing this scene, he smiled and said, "Hello everyone, it turns out you are all hiding here. Hey, isn't this Murakami-kun and Sawanda-san? What? It's hard to survive in hell, so you go back to the human world? Why don't you run away? If you meet me, won't you be sent back again?" He looked past them and said, "This must be the legendary Dragon Bone, Mashiro. Who are you?" Koen was not wearing a mask, so they did not recognize him at first. An arc of electricity appeared at Koen's fingertips, and they suddenly realized what was going on. They were shocked and said, "Iron Man, you are still alive. How did you find this place?" Koen glanced at Alexandra, who was asking the question. "Haha, of course my lovely 9 spiders told me." Only then did Mrs. Gao notice the figure that had been half hidden behind him. He immediately shouted angrily, "Jiuzhu, how dare you betray me?" Koen's face turned cold. "Old witch, if you dare to talk to my 9 spiders like this again, I will pull out your tongue." "Asshole." Alexandra looked grim. "How could you escape the pursuit of the black wolf spider? It's just a black wolf spider, not a small spider. Don't expect him to come in and save you. I've already killed him." Coincidentally, a prompt sounded from the system at this time. "The black wolf spider is dead, and he gets a 5-star gold level package." Before he could take a closer look, Madame Gao shouted, "Erika, kill them." As soon as the words fell, the slender female killer who had been standing silently behind them suddenly jumped out like an agile cheetah. The sharp steel fork in her hand went straight for Koen's throat. It's a pity that the current Koen is no longer the Koen she besieged in the underground parking lot that day. When the steel fork stabbed in front of him, he grabbed it with extremely fast speed. A huge force was transmitted along the steel fork to Erika, and her body was thrown forward. Then, Koen slapped her on the back of the head, and the silver-level female assassin fell into coma instantly. He turned back to look at Jiuzhu. "Do you know the hand's brainwashing control technique?" Jiuzhu nodded. "I know." "Very good." Koen threw Erika to her. "From now on, she will be your subordinate. The 2 of you, help me control the hand." "Yes." "Baga, don't you think too little of us?" Murakami took a step forward and spoke in English with a hint of everyday life. Koen glanced at him and said, "I've killed you once, what else do you think is worthy of my attention?" "Ha!" Murakami suddenly burst into laughter, with a hint of joy on his face. "If it were in the outside world, I might not be your opponent. But now, there is a whole dragon bone here." As he spoke, he walked to the dragon bone and stretched out his hand. "I have been studying martial arts in Kunlun for 30 years, not only learning martial arts. I also learned how to control the dragon's energy. In this world, no one is more familiar with it than us, except for every generation of Iron Fist. These dragon bones contain such a huge amount of dragon energy. Even if I can only control 1% of it, it is enough to kill you." As he exerted his power with a flushed face, a ball of golden dragon energy emerged from the dragon bone and slowly floated towards Murakami as if being pulled. But this process seemed very difficult, and a few drops of sweat appeared on his forehead. Cohen yawned out of boredom. Hey, when you say controlling the dragon's energy, is it like me? As soon as he finished speaking, he stretched out his hand, and his entire arm instantly turned bright red, like a piece of shiny hot iron. And the dragon energy that Murakami had tried so hard to seduce, like a stream returning to the sea, rushed directly to Cohen and instantly merged into his body. The 5 members of the Shuha Society all opened their mouths wide in astonishment. How is this possible? He is the modern Iron Fist? Impossible. The modern Iron Fist is still on the mountain. Wild Iron Fist? Alexandra's worldview collapsed. Who are you? The Punisher, Devilface, Iron Man, Thor, whatever you want to call me, I will have many more names in the future. But now, are you ready to die? 5 Fingers looked unhappy. You looked at me and I looked at you. Dragon bones are their lifelong pursuit. They have been searching for 100 years and planning for 10 years. How could they give up? Murakami showed a fierce look. Everyone, let's join forces to absorb the dragon energy and fight to the death. Even if he is the modern Iron Fist, he may not be able to defeat us. The 5 of them looked at each other tacitly, then stepped back and instantly exerted their power. It is true that unity is strength. The rich dragon energy instantly separated from the dragon bones, even illuminating the entire cave. They probably hadn't seen so much dragon energy in years, and their eyes were filled with fanaticism and excitement. So strong, so strong! Haha, with this power, we can even return to Kunlun. Shou Lao is dead, and the Jade Emperor is no match for us. I feel younger, and I can lift my dragon head stick again. Cohen rolled his eyes, crazy. He stretched out his hand and the dragon energy flew towards him again. No, what did you do? Spit it out, spit it out. Go on, kill him. Among the 5 people, 4 of them rushed over. Cohen's mind moved, and the dragon energy in his body condensed. He punched out, and 4 fist shadows composed of dragon energy flew out and hit the 4 people instantly. Their heads were like overripe watermelons, with juice splattering everywhere. He looked with interest at Alexandra, who was standing there. It was she who shouted, "Go, kill him!" But she herself did not move. She fell to her knees with a plop. Give me the dragon energy, and I will serve you as my master. If you want Lord Jiuzhu to control the hand, I will be your greatest help. Cohen glanced at the system. He had just received a silver-level gift package. Silver-level prey 0 out of 7. Killing her will leave us a lot of room for the next gift pack, so we can keep her. It is indeed difficult for Jiuzhu and Erika, a professional and a killer, to control the hand. But if you want dragon energy, no way. He waved at Jiuzhu, then looked at Alexandra. Don't you just want to live forever? Don't bother, I'll help you. The next second, the 9 spiders bit her neck. Alexandra knew what to do and didn't resist. Going around them, Cohen came to the huge dragon skeleton remains. Just by getting closer, he felt an ancient and vast aura coming towards him. The dragon energy in the body is already eager to try. Previously, he obtained an ability upgrade card, and he upgraded his electricity control ability without hesitation because he planned to take a gamble. He bet that the dragon bones underground might be able to directly evolve the dragon energy in his body. Now it seems that he won the bet. His fingers touched the dragon bone and he was about to absorb the dragon's energy when he suddenly received a system prompt. The system has detected residual dragon marrow. Do you want to use the bloodline fusion card to fuse it? Cohen frowned. Remaining dragon marrow? Blood fusion? Of course. After confirming with the system, he instantly felt a huge change in his body. A large amount of dragon energy wrapped in some special substances poured into his body, and all the attributes were rising wildly. Among them, strength and defense increased the fastest. Soon, the fusion was completed. Feeling the explosive power in his body, he felt that he had completed an unprecedented transformation. Turn on the system. Name, Cohen Wang. Age, 22 years old. Bloodline, mutated blood dragon bloodline, blood slave, Daytime blood scales. Status normal. Power 323. Speed 162. Defense 284. Constitution 203. Spirit 159. Skills: Combat Master, Pistol Master, Submachine/Assault Rifle Master, Trap Master, Swimming Master, Basketball Master. Abilities: Night Vision, Compound Eyes, Dragon Energy, Explosive Energy, Infrared Vision, Thunder Control. Items: None. Instance unlocked. Alternate Universe unlocked. Main task: those who are guilty must be punished. Iron level prey 21 of 35. Bronze prey 9 of 59. Silver level prey 0 out of 7. Gold level prey 0 of 3. Latest mission: Platinum Hunt. Platinum level prey 0 to 1. Greed: kill to gain redemption. Now, his normal strength has reached more than 5 tons, coupled with the enhanced Dragon Energy, Explosive Energy, the ultimate strength exceeds 10 tons. But more importantly, his defense has been greatly upgraded. The weakest attribute before suddenly became the second. He felt it carefully and found that with this level of defense, it was difficult for ordinary firearms to hurt him. Unless it is close-range shooting with a large-caliber sniper rifle, or some anti-material firearms. And even if he was injured, his physical fitness of more than 200 points would allow him to recover in minutes. Except for speed and mental weakness, everything else is perfect. Judging from his physical fitness alone, he can be called a mini-Hulk. But this is not the end. Just now, he killed hundreds of red-clothed ninjas twice in a row and obtained 6 bronze gift packs. A 100-kill streak achievement. The first 5-star gold gift package and the silver gift package just obtained. This time, he was really going to be filled with a rich harvest. Open the bronze gift bag. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Wilderness Survival Mastery, free attribute value, 14 points. 100 kills in a row also grants 100 attribute points. Open the silver gift bag. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Breath Containment Technique. The breath-concealing technique can conceal his heartbeat, body temperature, and other auras to a certain extent, making him more difficult to detect. Not bad. It would be even better if it could be upgraded to a spider sense that could dodge spiderlings. The last grand prize is a gold-level gift package. Congratulations on receiving the reward, Soul Defense. Well, I can face another old bald guy. Although it is not an ability that directly enhances combat power, it is very useful in the weird and complex world of Marvel. Just as I was thinking about how to add the remaining 114 attribute points, I suddenly felt a vibration behind me. Alexandra said quickly, "The power in the dragon bones will be absorbed, and the surrounding geological structure will undergo earth-shaking changes. Manhattan, there is a high probability of a major earthquake." Cohen was slightly stunned. "Let's go." Far away from the Midtown Financial Building, there is a tall building from which you can barely see the square where Daredevil fought the Avengers. Nick Fury set up his temporary headquarters here. In the current battle in the square, Daredevil has the absolute upper hand. He was wrapped in a layer of black air. In addition to being stronger and faster, his Night Devil radar capability was also enhanced. Not only does he seem at ease in the battles with Black Widow and others, he is often able to anticipate the enemy's moves. Even bullets fired by snipers from a distance can be easily dodged. It was thanks to the restraint of these snipers that the Black Widow and her gang were able to fight him until now. Nick Fury contacted the state government, and the National Guard was heading here with tanks and artillery. He also ordered the mobilization of some high-tech weapons that were not intended to be exposed before, and they will arrive soon. Therefore, he could sit in his seat somewhat calmly and drink a cup of coffee to calm his nerves. But looking at Wade being knocked away again on the monitor, he frowned. Why does he always feel that this demonized Daredevil is much weaker than he expected, or is he hiding some trick? He shook his head. Even though this question was very important, he had now put all his strength into defeating Daredevil, and the truth would eventually come to light. He was concentrating on the battle in the square, so he didn't pay attention when a tiny ripple appeared on the coffee on the table. But soon, he noticed it. The screen in front of him suddenly shook, and his body seemed to be pushed. Oh dash. With a serious expression, he turned to look at Agent Hill next to him. Did you feel it? A trace of disbelief appeared on Hill's face. Is it an earthquake? After confirming the answer, Nick Fury immediately yelled. Thunk. Why did an earthquake happen in New York at this time? Is it a small one or a big one? Hill immediately said, I will contact the U.S. Geological Survey right away. The shaking became stronger and stronger, and everyone could feel that the building was shaking. But the Geological Survey Bureau replied that everything was normal. Nick Fury just wanted to curse in their faces. I'm shocked. Right now, and you say everything is normal? Trash worm. He could only order all personnel in the command center to evacuate the building. But the most crucial thing is the battle in the square, where long-range snipers have been affected. The National Guard and the weapons he mobilized would most likely not be able to reach the scene. Fake. At this moment, Hill reported to him something even worse with a serious expression. Chief, several completely unrelated internal conflicts suddenly broke out between the agents and police officers of the first and second lines of defense. Nick Fury suddenly realized that this might be what he had been worried about. He took a deep breath. What's going on? Hilton paused. We have just noticed that more than a dozen similar conflicts have occurred in the surrounding blocks. It was as if an invisible magical force was slowly spreading around. According to observation, May, Ward, Rouleau, and others in the Avengers team. She suddenly stopped, put her hand on the communication headset on her ear, and her face suddenly became ugly. What's wrong? Nick Fury had a bad feeling. Patton suddenly rushed into the first line of defense and started killing people. He has shot 7 or 8 police officers. Fake! Nick Fury yelled. This time he felt dizzy without the building shaking. Where is my pager? I need to call someone. Meeting room, 7th floor, financial building. The snake root priests who had gathered together and whispered about planning to control the world are now lying on the ground. Jean Bing calmly picked up the red ghost mask on the ground without even looking at these idiots. What level of stuff is this? Are you still dreaming of ruling the world? I don't even dare to think about it. This thing that makes people stupid after reading so much? Next to him, Chiriki grinned. These guys, I poured them a celebratory drink, and they actually dared to drink it. How naive! Jean Bing also laughed, and suddenly sighed. Chiriki was startled. Boss, what's wrong? Jean Bing shook his head. It would be great if all my opponents were of this kind. Chiriki complained in his heart. How can such a good thing happen every day? Kingpin played with the red ghost mask in his hand. As long as I put this thing on, I can control Daredevil? Yes, boss! Jean Bing picked up the mask and was about to put it on when he suddenly stopped, with a half-smile on his face. You're not lying to me, are you? Chiriki shuddered. Of course not, boss. Jean Bing stared into his eyes for a while and said, That's good. Nothing unusual happened when the red ghost mask was first put on. Kingpin and Chiriki both breathed a sigh of relief. But soon, a black demonic energy suddenly surged out from the mask. It drilled into Jean Bing's body and slithered in the flesh beneath his skin like a black demon snake. He let out a low roar of pain, and Chiriki's eyes immediately widened. What was going on? Kingpin's huge body fell to his knees. A hint of ink gradually appeared in his eyes. But soon, he stopped struggling and stood up with a calm expression. Boss, are you okay? Sure. Jean didn't answer and punched out. Chiriki's head exploded instantly, and his body fell limply to the ground. Idiot! You forgot to tell me that putting on the mask would hurt so much. The building was shaking, and the tables, chairs, and benches were rubbing against the ground, making sharp noises. He slowly wiped the red and white blood from his hands. Suddenly, there was a burst of intensive gunfire and explosions in the distance. There seemed to be a riot. Under the night sky, Dots of fire spread outward step by step with the financial building as the center. If you listen carefully, you can hear curses, roars, cries, and groans in the night wind. Jean Bing showed a weird and crazy smile on his face. Haha, great beast, your power has finally arrived. We are about to rule the world. Cohen brought Jiao Zhu and his men back from the Dragon Bone Cave to the second underground floor of the financial building. He immediately heard a shout, and David poked his head out of the hole leading to the sewer. Boss, you finally made it up. Why are you here? David saw the three women behind him and subconsciously covered his chest with his hands. The shaking is getting stronger and stronger. If you don't come up, I'm going to run for my life. How's the battle going up there? David shook his head repeatedly. It's over. More than half of your Avengers team has been wiped out. Cohen was slightly surprised. What, so fast? Didn't Hawkeye Barton join the war? Hey, it's because of him. Hawkeye Barton was contaminated and controlled by the devil, and shot Wade in the knee with an arrow. Then he rushed into the defense line and started killing indiscriminately, killing more than a dozen agents and policemen before being shot down by concentrated fire. May Ward and Rumlow of S.H.I.E.L.D. were also affected and attacked each other. Upon seeing this, Wade detonated a bunch of grenades, knocking them all unconscious and sending himself flying more than 10 meters away. Now only Blade and Black Widow are left. Cohen was slightly stunned. Beasts also have the ability to pollute minds? Although Patton is the mascot of team battles, his mental attributes are indeed not high. I thought I was safe with you. But Wade, is he so brave? It doesn't fit the character. Is Wade okay? David rolled his eyes. He's already in the late stages of cancer, got shot in the knee by an arrow, got kicked twice by Daredevil, and got blown up. It's not optimistic. Even if he wasn't dead, he would have been contaminated by the devil by now. I feel like there's no value in saving it. Fake. Cohen cursed. If anything happens to Wade, I will help him get revenge on Nick Fury. It seems like it was Daredevil who beat him. The one who shot him was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, the one who caused the internal conflict was also a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, and the one who failed to protect him was also S.H.I.E.L.D. Nick Fury has an unshirkable responsibility. David, makes sense. At this moment, there was another violent shaking, and dust and stone chips fell from the ceiling. David turned pale and waved his hand quickly. Boss, retreat quickly, or we will be buried underground later. Go down the drain. It's easily contaminated. Hundreds of thousands of people in more than a dozen streets around were affected and were in a very violent mood. The neighborhood closest to here has begun to show symptoms of cannibalism. Fuck, this is hell on earth. Cohen waved to the 9 spiders. You and David retreat from the sewer together. What about you? Cohen shook his head and sighed. Of course, it is to fulfill the responsibility given to me by God and save the world. Okay? David opened his eyes wide and said, Boss, that's the devil, are you serious? In the square, the demonized Daredevil treated Blade and Black Widow like they were playing with mice. Blade was covered in blood, and even with his half-vampire physique, he could not hold on any longer. His consciousness was blurred, and he was only supported by the breath in his chest. Natasha was even worse. But her eyes were exceptionally clear, as if they were not tainted by the devil. As a Red House agent who fought her way out of the Arctic ice, her will has long been tempered. But power is not transferred by the strength of will. There was a strong tremor, and the glass of the financial building shattered one after another, with fragments filling the sky like a glass rain. Natasha was half kneeling on the ground, holding a tactical knife in her hand. Even though it was a product of S.H.I.E.L.D.'s high technology, it was now full of dents. Even at that moment of exhaustion, her mind was exceptionally clear, and all of a sudden, everything around her seemed to slow down. The blood that was about to drip slowly gathered on the chin. The blade was knocked away again, and the eyes slowly dimmed. And the sound of my heart beating in my chest. Perhaps it was her will that affected her body, and the exhausted strength returned, and her 2 round and well-proportioned thighs suddenly exploded. The wind blew across her face and shards of glass fell from the sky like sharp blades, but she didn't dodge at all. Shoo! 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 The glass is like a knife, cutting every inch of skin it touches, leaving bloodstains and a line. A drop of blood smeared her left eye, making it all red, but her hand holding the tactical knife was as steady as an old butcher who had been slaughtering pigs for half his life. Pfft! Perhaps it was the magnificent sight of the glass fragments reflecting the bright red firelight that Daredevil was unable to dodge. The American Ontario 3 Malawin Quach's navy knife pierced his throat directly. Natasha did not stop, and continued to rush forward to Daredevil's left side, her hand tightly gripping the hilt of the knife, and like a neon samurai performing the seppuku ritual, she swung it to the left. In an instant, half of Daredevil's neck was cut. Natasha didn't stop and stabbed Daredevil in the back. Then she lost her strength, her legs went limp, and she fell to her knees. You did a great job, really. A faint voice sounded from behind her, Kingpin. He stood at the door of the hall at some point, with a red ghost mask on his face, watching the fight between Black Widow and Daredevil quietly. Unfortunately, it's useless. Under Natasha's desperate eyes, Daredevil bent his arm at a strange angle and pulled out the tactical knife from his back. Then he straightened his head, which had drooped on his shoulders due to a broken spine. In an instant, a black gas emerged, and the wound that was enough to kill an ordinary person 100 times actually slowly returned to normal. This time you are not participating in a battle between humans, but a battle between humans and gods. Kingpin opened his arms, with a hint of enthusiasm in his voice. Look at this world! Look at this decayed city! It was once glorious and glorious, but now it is in ruins. Those high-ranking officials, upper class, and wealthy people who have beastly hearts regard this place as their exclusive playground. All the shit, piss, filth and dirt are dumped here. They make life very hard for people in this city. There is a lack of order here, a strong order that everyone must obey. There were more frequent explosions coming from the distance, perhaps because of the severe earthquake just now. The sky turned dark red and the air was filled with a burning smell. A helicopter flew by hurriedly, but their target was not here. It seemed that everyone had forgotten that there was a battle going on here, and it seemed that everyone had forgotten that this was the source of the chaos. You'll never succeed, Black Widow Natasha said in a hoarse voice. Because in this world, there will always be heroes standing up. Jean Bing sneered. Haha, I think you are probably wrong. There is no such thing in this world. Our corrupt and decadent society is the best proof of this. He waved his hand. Night Demon, you can kill them now! Hearing this, Daredevil tilted his head, stared at Natasha on the ground like a ferocious beast, and walked towards her step by step. Bye. Suddenly, several bright blue energy bombs came over and blew Daredevil away. Black gas spread and his body was a little damaged. A high and ethnically distinctive voice sounded. I tell you, Madfac, I am the hero. Nick Fury is here. Behind him were Hill, Coulson, who had an injured arm, and several other agents. They were holding a strangely shaped weapon with a sci-fi feel. Kingpin laughed out loud, as if he heard some funny joke. Night Devil, have we been playing for too long? These guys actually think they can stand up to us? Well, let's teach them a lesson. As soon as he finished speaking, Daredevil rushed out and jumped up. In midair, black demonic energy suddenly erupted, and he slammed down like a giant gorilla. The speed was so fast that Fury and his men didn't even have time to turn their guns. Oh shit! Boom! Nick Fury flies. He flew out like a piece of rag, covered in blood, and it was unknown whether he was alive or dead. Jean Bing laughed and said, Now, who wants to stop me? Who can stop me? Come! I'm not afraid. A slightly awkward voice sounded. Well, actually, I've been standing here and watching for quite a while. It's just that you didn't notice me, so I didn't say anything. Jean Bing, why don't you look back? I'm here.